I recently built a team in Pokemon Champions featuring a duo that feels really broken right now, and that duo is Sableye plus Archaludon. Sableye can enable Archaludon by setting up Rain Dance for it, as well as Light Screen and Reflect, making Archaludon so much more difficult to knock out. With a combination of screens, it's basically impossible to get a one-hit knockout on this Archaludon. Most people are using Archaludon paired with just the Rain Setter like Politoed or Pelipper, but in my opinion, Sableye is the hidden tech that really unlocks this Pokemon to the next level. When you combine it with healing from Sinistcha, this trio can just be so incredibly difficult to deal with. I went on a 17-game win streak in Master Ball tier with this team, and so in this video, I'm going to showcase all of the games, and so you can see my climb unedited just from beginning all the way to end. Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the Pokemon Champions VGC ladder and provide live commentary as I go. I have finally cooked up a brand new team, and I honestly think it is really good, so I'm excited to showcase what this strategy can do. I'll also be doing a separate video breaking down the team building process for this team and how it came together, so you'll want to stay subscribed to the channel if you want to learn a little bit more about the nuance behind team building and how you can put together a strong team in Pokemon Champions. This video is going to be a little bit longer. I initially was just going to sit down and play a couple of games, but I basically just kept winning, and so I was like, you know what, I want to showcase a really long climbing session and what all of those individual matches look like. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below, and thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoyed, would really appreciate if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. Anyway, let's get started. If you're interested in trying out the team ID is on the screen, and there's also an accompanying Pokepaste down in the description below. As mentioned, this is a team that centers around the combination of Sableye and Archaludon, which is a duo that I thought was really underplayed and underrated right now. The idea is that Sableye can set up screens for Archaludon while also giving it Rain Dance. And when you think about Archaludon in the format, most people pair it just with a Politoed or a Pelipper, and that's great, but because there's so much weather in the format, I think that Rain Dance is what elevates this to the next level. The idea is that Prankster Rain Dance does not care about Mega Charizard, Mega Froslass, Mega Tyranitar, because you can just override their weather when they Mega Evolve and set up the rain immediately. And so this deters people from even bringing their weather in the first place, and if they do, we can punish them super heavily. The theory behind this team is that I think Archaludon is just kind of underplayed at the highest level, and I think that you make Archaludon a unbreakable wall essentially by setting up screens for it. It keeps stacking up boosts via Electro Shot, and then Sinistcha can just heal it further with Life Dew as well as the Hospitality combination. To round out the team, though, you've got Pelipper and Basculegion, which gives you a Rain Core, so you don't always have to lean into the Sableye Archaludon duo, although I would say I basically bring that in every game. But it means that you have a mode where you can go Basculegion, Archaludon, flip turn, activate Stamina, bring in Pelipper, go from there. The Mega slot, I think, is one that is still not perfected. I initially had M-Floette on this team, and I was just way too weak to certain steel types. Like Mega Scizor, for example, felt like a near auto loss, and I played against a Rain team that had Mega Scizor with Close Combat, Swords Dance, as well as Aura Sphere, Chople Berry, Archaludon, and I was like, I literally cannot win against this. And so I threw on Mega Dragonite to give me a bulky option like it set up Tailwind, but also threaten with Fire type damage to specifically threaten some steel types like Scizor, for example. The stats here are fairly straightforward. This Archaludon is basically just super bulky. I still like Modest Nature because I find that at +1, this is able to just KO so many different things in the format. But you want to index really heavily on special defense here. And the idea is with this amount of special defense, both combined with screens from Sableye, you'll even be able to survive something like a Light of Room from M-Floette, which is kind of crazy. It kind of just makes it feel like Assault Vest Archaludon from back in the day. Sableye here is going to be super specially invested, reaches enough special investment to get the extra bump in special defense and then rest in defense. And then the rest of the spreads are fairly straightforward, really just like maxing across the board, basically. And so, yeah, the idea is that this Archaludon is going to be super difficult to knock out because it's so specially defensive, right? But we can boost our defense, we can boost our special attack via Electro Shot as well as Stamina. And so, yeah, if you want to try out the team, feel free to give it a spin. When I built this team, it was very much designed around the trio of Sableye, Archaludon, and Sinistcha, so as you'll see, most of the common combos relies on that trio, +1, and I'll talk a little bit about my logic for bringing each individual Pokemon. Now, Basculegion is my go-to fourth member to complement this core. The reason for this is because it is a really effective late-game sweeper. The idea is that we'll use Sableye to enable Archaludon as much as possible in the early game. Sinistcha normally comes in the mid-game to heal up Archaludon while disrupting our opponents further. Then, Choice Scarf Basculegion comes in the end game and is able to sweep our opponents. You might think that Pelipper is necessary with this team, but because Sableye has Rain Dance, it's almost always going to be able to click that Rain Dance in the opening turns of the game, and so you don't actually need to rely on Pelipper for Rain. However, sometimes I will still bring out the Pelipper if I see weather on my opponent's team. I think Sun is the one where Pelipper can make a big difference because fire-type attacks like Heat Wave and Weather Ball from Pokemon like Charizard Y as well as Torkoal can be pretty annoying for Archaludon to deal with. And a lot of smart players are not going to let you just Rain Dance their Mega Charizard on turn 1 of the game, so what they'll do is conserve their weather, have their Charizard or Torkoal in the back, try to knock your Pokemon out early, especially that Sableye, then bring out their weather. So if you have Pelipper in the back, obviously, even once Sableye has been knocked out, Pelipper can still change the weather. The main thing to note is if you go with this core, you're going to be really weak offensively outside of Archaludon. That's okay because the whole point of the team is for Archaludon to be the primary and often only carry, but it means that if you make one mistake with Archaludon and let it faint, you will often not be able to win the game with the remainder of Sableye, Sinistcha, and Pelipper. Whereas in the first mode, the Basculegion does give you insurance even if Archaludon goes down a little bit sooner than you would have liked. But these are generally going to be 2 of the default modes. And it's interesting because you might be wondering, well, you don't have a Mega Evolution. When do you bring your Mega Evolution? I think the Mega slot on this team is still the one that has the most refining to be done. I initially had Mega Floette on the team, but I found that it just shared some common weaknesses with Archaludon. For example, I was losing against opposing Mega Scizor Archaludon Rain really heavily and felt like Floette could do absolutely nothing in that matchup. And so I swapped it for Mega Dragonite. The theory behind Mega Dragonite is that it does get access to some really powerful, super effective burst damage, and it is bulky even with no investment because of multi-scale. It also offers a secondary Tailwind option that's not Pelipper, and of course it's faster than Pelipper. I threw Flamethrower and Hurricane on it as well as Draco Meteor, and the logic is, look, I can use this Pokemon to just burst down things that otherwise would have been annoying for my initial version of the team to deal with. So Hurricane can of course be really good into grass types, things like Mega Scovillain as well as Sinistcha. Flamethrower is going to be especially helpful against Mega Scizor, but can also be valuable into just steel types like King Gambit. And then Draco Meteor gives you a ton of burst damage, especially into those opposing dragon type Pokemon like Kommo, for example. So this mode I actually find myself going with the least, and so, you know, as you play with the team, feel free to explore potential Mega Evolution slots because I feel like the Mega Dragonite is not necessarily 100% needed for the team, but it patched up some matchups that I initially thought I was, struggling with the team. And it speaks to how strong that I think the trio of Sableye, Archaludon, Sinistcha is, and that it often doesn't need a Mega Evolution in order to win matches. Finally, there is a core of the Basculegion, Archaludon, Pelipper +1. I honestly almost never lead this, but if you are starting out and playing the game, this is kind of a more beginner-friendly mode. The idea is with this, you can pressure Flip Turn immediately and bring out Pelipper, and that's nice because basically if you are up against opponents that will bring out their weather like Mega Froslass, Mega Charizard on turn 1, they will Mega Evolve often, you'll Flip Turn out, you'll bring in your weather, and then you can just get the weather advantage from there. One of the most fun things about this combination is going for Flip Turn onto your own Archaludon to boost your defense immediately. Even a single stamina boost can go a really long way in helping you sustain, and so this is another way to play with the team, although I would say I almost never go with it just because the core Sableye core is so powerful. So these are some of my favorite ways to play with the team, but of course don't hold yourself to just these. In terms of beating this team, rather than focus on individual Pokemon, I want you to focus on bigger picture ideas. The reason for this is because the whole point of the team was to be designed in a way that you cannot knock out Archaludon in one hit. Archaludon will basically always have screen support next to it, and so it will be able to survive even the strongest attacks in the game. So how can you actually beat it then? One of the concepts is to lead 2 of your most powerful attackers and ideally a split between special and physical damage. If you combine both of those, Archaludon is threatened immediately on turn 1 and Sableye can only set up 1 screen at a time. I think Sableye really thrives if it makes it 3 turns in the game and is able to click Light Screen, Reflect, and Rain Dance, but if you lead with 2 really aggressive attackers, it often will only be able to get potentially 2 or maybe only 1 of those moves off, right? It also makes Archaludon play the guessing game of, oh, should I protect on turn 1 or should I attack? Because if I'm facing down a lot of damage, Archaludon often will be incentivized to click Protect, but then that leaves your Sableye open to getting doubled up into. So some examples of Pokemon that do have good burst damage into Archaludon immediately include Floette with Moonblast or Light of Ruin, Stomping Tantrum from Garchomp, and Close Combat from Sneasler. Now, if you're on the opposing side and you're using things like Garchomp and Sneasler, you have to be extra cautious, because if you mistime your damage and you give Archaludon a stamina boost, but you're not able to knock it out quickly enough, Archaludon is actually very happy soaking up that damage, right? So a lot about beating this Archaludon is timing your damage in a way where you can just go as a 1-2 punch, immediately bring Archaludon super low, where even after Sinistcha recovery, it is still not enough for it to heal back. And so when you think about going up against this team, think about what are my most powerful attackers, and should I just consider leading them and threatening Archaludon / the Sableye immediately. Archaludon also does not love going up against special attackers with strong burst type damage, because even with Light Screen, it's still threatened. So some good examples of this include Aura Sphere from Mega Blastoise or opposing Archaludon, Earth Power from things like Mega Venusaur and Mega Camerupt. Mega Camerupt might seem super niche, but basically when I built this team and tried it out in a tournament, I did play a team with Mega Camerupt. They didn't even bring it into the matchup, but the Mega Camerupt alone made me think I can't even do very much with my Archaludon. And so the presence of a strong special ground type attacker like it was really scary. Fairy type damage in particular is also really good into this team, because there are just no resistances, and so you'll always be able to do guaranteed damage with things like Floette as well as Sylveon. Sableye getting knocked out on turn 1 can also be really bad, because it means that you don't get the combination of Light Screen, Reflect, and Rain Dance. This is also especially bad if you don't bring Pelipper, and in most of my games, I actually don't like bringing Pelipper, because I like having a Basculegion or a Mega Dragonite for more damage output. So let's say you lose Sableye on turn 1, you maybe got one screen up, but you don't have Rain Dance set up. The Archaludon just cannot snowball nearly as quickly as it normally would want to, because you would have to rely on regular Electroshot outside of Rain, right? So if your opponents are smart, they can aggressively target down Sableye and prevent the combination of all of the screens plus Rain Dance. And basically, the team is built in a way where it's like you get to often bring Pelipper or a Sweeper, but you can't do both, right? If you do both, then you're giving up Sinistcha most of the time, and the healing I find is just so important for Archaludon. So what that means is Sableye fainting and no Rain can put Archaludon in an awkward spot. And finally, this team does rely very heavily on Archaludon, so critical hits onto it can feel especially devastating when it basically feels like you've won a game, right? There will be often times where you'll get to +4, +5, +6 defense. You're up against a Sneasler or a Garchomp. They should never be able to knock you out, barring a critical hit, but they land that critical hit and you lose the game immediately. Sableye, Sinistcha, and Pelipper also just don't do very much damage, so you just have less margin for error, because you're often going all in on Archaludon in a lot of games, which means that you have to be cautious. The team is designed in a way where it allows you to make safe plays for the most part, but if you make a mistake, if you overpredict, or if your opponent makes a really nice play, for example, Archaludon often can find itself taking a lot of damage. So, as always, these weaknesses are not exhaustive, but these are some bigger picture observations from my time playing with the team. And yeah, I think if you are looking to beat it, you really want to just make sure that the Sableye Archaludon combination does not get too many turns to get going. We've got Meganium, Milotic, Garchomp, Tyranitar, Aerodactyl, as well as Aegislash. I designed this team because I did not want to lose to Milotic. So we have Electroshot, which is obviously really good. Meganium's going to be their one concern for us, but I think it's okay. Like, Sableye plus Archaludon plus healing from Sinistcha should be a pretty good combo. And then for the last one, I think Dragonite's actually pretty tempting here. Pelipper's obviously not bad for weather control, but then it means that my damage output's just not that great. Whereas Dragonite gives me Draco into Garchomp, Hurricane into Meganium, Flamethrower into Aegislash. And part of the nice thing about going with this is that Sableye can just set up the rain, so I don't need Pelipper to do it. I do think Pelipper is actually not bad here, because it's bulky. It can also deal pretty significant damage with Weather Ball into T-Tar in the rain, Hurricane into Meganium. They're going to go with both of their special attackers. Okay, that works for me. I think against this on turn 1, I'm happy to just set up Light Screen immediately and actually just go for Flash Cannon onto Meganium. With them leading their 2 special attackers, if they are not able to do enough damage to Archaludon in these first 2 to 3 turns, and I knock out Meganium, I think we just win the game. Because they're going to start stacking up stamina boosts pretty quickly. So we'll Light Screen. Dazzling Gleam makes sense, but Roselli Berry here plus Archaludon special defense means we don't take that much damage. Is that a crit? Yeah, that's okay. You can see how bulky we are, right? Even with the critical hit, I'm only losing half my health. I can just switch in Sinistcha next turn, heal that back up. Flash Cannon to Meganium, great trade. They're going to Icy Wind us, that's fine. Cool. So now what I can do is actually just go for Quash and Flash Cannon. I initially had Encore on the Sableye, but I found like Quash was pretty helpful in getting our Archaludon out of tricky situations and sniping down like the main attacker. So I'm happy to just Quash here and Flash Cannon because like my Milotic is a non-factor right now. I'm happy to just let it sit on the field. So they're going to protect. That's fine. Good scouting on their end. But, like, what is Milotic going to do? It's going to launch an Ice Beam into us. 94. Another crit? Okay. Well, that's a little bit less than ideal, but it's still fine. 2 critical hits. We're still hanging around. It does mean, though, that I might need to go for Sinistcha for healing right now and then protect with Archaludon. Slightly annoying, but so be it. Yeah, M-Meganium switches. Nice. Into Aegislash. Cool. So here's the thing, right? My Archaludon's HP is quite low, but I have a lot of sustain with Sinistcha healing as well as the leftovers from Archaludon, right? So even with them getting 2 critical hits, it's actually still not terrible right now, which is a testament to how bulky this Archaludon is. Yep, they're going to Ice Beam into us. Cool. We're going to heal further back up. And at this point, we're already at +3 defense. So Aegislash's Poltergeist, not that scary. I'm actually happy to commit a Life Dew right now, I think. Yeah. Life Dew. We, like, ideally just get Sableye out and then Rain Dance eventually, right? So I can start clicking Electro Shot. They might double up on a Sinistcha here. But with Cassiberry, I actually don't think I faint to that. It actually might be better to Trick Room here, now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't mind Trick Rooming. And actually, I think this is an opportunity to just go for regular Electro Shot, even outside of Rain, because I'm not threatened that much by Archaludon, and they're just going to Icy Wind. Cool. So, like, that's one of the other things you can do with this Archaludon. Like, just click Electro Shot, even if Rain isn't up. Obviously, it, like, takes a turn, but, like, I think it's better than going for Dragon Pulse here, because I just get a boost. So, stance change. My guess is Poltergeist, but we've got the Resist Berry here on Sinistcha. Perfect. Yeah, and we survive. Beautiful. Okay. So Archaludon's going to take a turn to charge, but that's okay because getting a free special attack boost on this is never bad. The question I have next turn is whether or not they Shadow Sneak with Aegislash, because I could switch Sinistcha out for more guaranteed healing. I hate the idea of switching Sinistcha out right now into Sableye. Because I don't think an Ice Beam double up will knock out Archaludon here. It's just a debate of whether or not I want a Life Dew instead. Normally, Aegislash should run Shadow Sneak. So I'm inclined to want to switch out into Sableye here. The scary part here is if they end up having Sacred Sword with Aegislash, because it ignores defense boosts. Okay, Milotic protects. Sneak. Okay, nice. Electroshot into the protect, but that is fine. And you can see Archaludon started the game with 2 critical hits. We're still in fine shape, right? 3 turns of Trick Room left. They could sneak again. Sableye should be slower. I think we go for Rain Dance right now, probably, because I don't need the screens. They could switch into Garchomp. So the question is whether or not they brought that. Like, I'm actually leaning towards Rain Dancing here and Electroshotting to try to knock out Aegislash. Because, like, Milotic's not that much of a concern to me. So, yeah, they're going to stay in with both here. Okay. Yep, just another Shadow Sneak. Fine by me. Sableye faints. That Shadow Sneak did a lot the first one, so I'm thinking it might be Spell Tag Aegislash. But Focus Sash is also an item people run on this Pokemon. Okay. Into the Aegislash. Nice. That gives Sinistcha some breathing room now to come in and heal back up, right? Which is really nice. So they're going to Ice Beam us again. Nice. No crit, which is huge. And you can see our Archaludon has just tanked all of these attacks, right? We'd be even better shape if they didn't get either of those 2 crits, right? But once again, I think it's a testament to how good this Pokemon is that I set up Light Screen, my opponent crit me twice, and we're still in fine shape. So bring in Sinistcha. Two turns of Trick Room left. I'm happy to go for Life Dew right now. The question is who we want to target with our Archaludon, right? I could Electroshot into either slot. I'm leaning towards targeting down the Milotic right now. Milotic can't really do that much to our Archaludon, though. Oh, I also have to respect them switching in Tyranitar, potentially, to change my weather. So I don't want to get baited into Electroshot, actually. Yeah, for that reason, actually, I'm okay going Life Dew Flash Cannon here. Okay, M-Meganium protects. They don't switch into Tyranitar, which makes me think they might not have it, but we'll see. Life Dew. Nice. They'll probably... Oh, they Icy Wind. So they let us get another Life Dew off this next turn, which is a big deal in my opinion. I know I've got Dragonite in the back, which should outspeed Meganium and can just knock it out. I could see them even switching Meganium out right now, maybe. +6 defense, +2 special attack, -3 speed. I do think I'm going to Life Dew Electroshot Milotic here. Yeah, they switch. Nice. Is it T-Tar, though? Garchomp. Perfect. I just felt like if they had Tyranitar, last turn would have been the turn to switch it out. So this was kind of a calculated risk because obviously it's not ideal to have gone for Electroshot with the risk of Tyranitar. But I was like, do you really want to bring T-Tar into this matchup? Like, yes, I have Rain, but it's not good into our Archaludon. So we demolish the Milotic. Mega Dragonite should be a pretty awesome final Pokemon for us to have as well. Life Dew to heal up our Archaludon even more. Cool. Trick Room expires. But now I can bring out Dragonite and potentially Tailwind with it, right? So, like, we started this game getting crit twice through Light Screen. Our Archaludon is at full HP right now. 2 turns of Rain left. They could protect Earthquake. I think here I'm honestly fine just going for Matcha Gotcha and protect with my Archaludon to get the free switch in into my Dragonite. Dragonite beats both of these pretty handily at this point. Okay, they just Dragon Claw. That's fine. Sinistcha faints. Yep. We just don't want the chance for them to like get another crit here into our Archaludon. Great. Brand Dragonite. I'm not going to Tailwind here because I'm at so many speed drops with my Arch. So with this, we have Multiscale, Mega Evolve, Hurricane into Meganium, and Dragon Pulse into Garchomp. But I think this game showcased exactly the idea behind the Sinistcha, Archaludon, and Sableye core, right? I get to just sustain for so long. They launched so many special attacks into us, but it doesn't matter. The healing just adds up. And then because they stack these defense boosts in the early game, like I'm not worried about Garchomp at this point, right? So they Dragon Claw here, but we have multi-skill, so we survive. And Dragonite being fast, outspeeds Meganium, gets the knockout with Hurricane. Perfect. So Meganium will faint. And now our Archaludon, which has stacked up so many boosts, gets that Dragon Pulse off, KO's Garchomp. So I will say critical hits are quite scary, but what helps is that our Archaludon does have a lot of like invested special defense bulk, which means that even if you crit, like I'm still not taking the most amount of damage. This is a fun team. Politoed, Blastoise, Weavile, Kingambit, Gengar, and Lopunny. So there's like 3 potential Megas. My guess is it's not Mega Blastoise, because Gengar and Lopunny really want a Mega. I feel like Archaludon Sableye here should be really solid. I think Pelipper is actually interesting here because of Wide Guard. Although I think Aura Sphere Blastoise is actually probably what we need to worry about more. Sableye, Arch, Sinistcha. I don't think Dragonite's actually that good because of the threat of Weavile and Triple Axle. I might go Basculegion fourth here. Yeah. With the logic of Basculegion being able to Wave Crash or Last Respects in the end game. The main thing to note is if you are bringing Basculegion as your last one into King Gambit, you want to get around Sucker Punch, right? So either that means getting a Reflect up and bringing Basculegion out while Reflect is set up, or knocking out King Gambit ideally, so then Basculegion can just sweep. Gengar, Weavile. Okay. What do we want to do here? I don't mind just going for Flash Cannon into Weavile on turn 1. And Light Screen. It's going to be Mega Gengar. Yep. It's also part of why I wanted to bring Basculegion. Like, Mega Gengar just kind of folds to Basculegion. Okay, they're just going to Fake Out into us. That is fine. I mean, I am curious if it's ever Perish Saw on Gengar here, but it's like, because I have Dual Ghost, I can switch out of it fairly easily. Yeah, they just Shadow Ball us. Cool. Like, I don't think... Like, Perish is actually a pretty effective way to beat my Archaludon strategy, but it's not very good into basically everything else that we have. The question is whether or not I want to set up a Reflect this turn. Their team is... I mean, they might have a King Gambit in the back. I think I'm fine going... Yeah. Flash Cannon. Actually, I don't think I really need Reflect, to be honest. So I think I'd rather Electroshot Weavile here and Rain Dance. Because I think it's like the Reflect only would help Sableye right now. It's like Archaludon is not going to take that much damage from Weavile anyway. And they're just going to keep focusing on Sableye. Yeah. They do have Knockoff. Knockoff actually a pretty annoying move for Archaludon because you get rid of leftovers. Like, that's one of the better tools to have against us. And so I'm happy that they didn't remove our leftovers there. So we get a big Electroshot off. Okay. I think we bring in Basculegion. The main thing about Basculegion here is it's like, if you're my opponent, do you protect one slot? Light Screen is up, so I'm leaning towards Electroshotting Gengar and Flip Turning into Weavile. I also think like Weavile often doesn't have the space to fit Protect onto its moveset. Fake Out Triple Axle, Knockoff. You run a Fighting type attack. If I were my opponent, I would think about protecting Gengar here. I also maybe could have just committed to Wave Crash instead. Because it's like... Okay, they switch Weavile out. Makes sense. Into Blastoise. Okay. And they don't protect on Gengar. So it's probably a Shadow Ball going into the Basculegion slot. But that's fine. We have the Berry. And at this point, Archaludon has Light Screen up. It's just continuing to stack up boosts. Ah, Disable. Okay, nice play. Nice play. Does get rid of my Electroshot. Got Rain Dance here. Rain Dance leftovers. Neat. I'm going to go for Dragon Pulse here into the Blastoise. I don't really care about Gengar. And then Trick Room here. Okay, we're going to Fake Out into us, which makes sense. Maybe a Shadow Ball then. Another defense boost. Yeah, but we've got the Cassette Berry, so I can take that. Oh, that barely dents us. Nice. Archaludon flinches. Goes up. Disabling Electroshot was a very nice play. If I had gone Wave Crash into Gengar there, probably just would have won. But I felt like Gengar protecting Weavile going for an attack was a possibility, so we had to respect that for sure. Last turn of Light Screen, 2 turns of Rain. We're disabled. I think I'm leaning towards just Dragon Pulsing Blastoise here and going for Machagacha. Try to KO it. We'll see if it has Fake Out and Protect, because my guess is this was a Shell Smash set. Yeah, they don't Protect, which is nice. Cool. Great damage there. That's a lot of healing for us, too. I was like, oh, I could go for Life Dew to heal myself, but why Life Dew when you can just heal from draining their energy? Yeah, that gets us back to full. Nice. They're actually slower than Arch, so they get a flip turn out. Okay, that's cool. It's coming in. Is it their 4th one? Or is it Weavile? If it's Weavile, we get a knockout onto that. It is Weavile. Okay, I don't mind KOing that. Dragon Pulse. Weavile faints. Probably just another Shadow Ball here. Yep. We survive. Cool. Ooh, I don't love that special defense drop, because that means another Shadow Ball will KO us right now. So they can bring Blastoise back in, Shadow Ball. The main thing is like thinking about what move we're going to have to lock into with Basculegion in this endgame, because I set up Trick Room. I'm leaning towards Dragon Pulsing Gengar here. I'm going for Machagacha. The Disable was really nice. I think I maybe should have tried to play around that and anticipated it, because it's a fairly standard move on Gengar. Yep, and they go for Fake Out into Arch. Stamina. Machagacha. Yeah, I actually think that special defense drop is really unfortunate, because I think we would have healed up enough. We do get a burn on Gengar, okay. Yeah, I was thinking we would have healed enough where even after Light Screen, we would survive a Shadow Ball, but now I faint to 1 for sure. Actually, I'm not sure. I think we might have fainted anyway. Oh, but they Shadow Ball into Arch. Maybe expecting a potential Protect from Sinistcha, wanting to cover for that. But I think that now puts me in a really good spot. Burn. Because essentially now, okay, we're not disabled. That doesn't really matter. 2 turns of Trick Room. Yeah, it means I can Dragon Pulse Gengar and just Machagacha here with basically no consequence. Had they gotten the knockout onto Sinistcha, I have to bring Basculegion in under Trick Room, and then the question is, do I think +1 Dragon Pulse KOs Gengar? Like, I'm not sure, so I might actually have to lock into Aqua Jet with Basculegion. But I actually would be okay with that lock-in as well, to be honest. I think it's, like, not terrible, because it's, like, low HP Blastoise, and I think our Archaludon can handle, like, their remaining Pokemon. But yeah, Sinistcha was great here for us. Nice. Gengar faints from the boosted Dragon Pulse. And now we have late game Scarf Basculegion. We've eliminated Weavile and Gengar, so Basque I think should definitely win. But yeah, it was a big deal for them to have Shadow Balled their Archaludon over Sinistcha, I think. And I think even if they had targeted us, like I said, like I actually still feel fine about it. It comes down to what their final Pokemon is, right? It would have been Could have been Politoed, which would immediately lose. It could have been Lopunny, which I would be surprised to see in this matchup. Yeah, so I feel like Archaludon plus a Scarf Basculegion locked into Aqua Jet would have been pretty fine for us in that end game. This is a fun team. Pretty offensive with Gardevoir, Typhlosion, Archaludon, Aerodactyl, Farigiraf, Garchomp. Probably Mega Gardevoir. I could go Basculegion Archaludon in this one, I think. There's no King Gambit, which is big. The main thing is I kind of want Light Screen to deal with the Gardevoir, so I think Sableye Arch is still fine. Basculegion +1. Their Archaludon makes me want to bring Dragonite a bit more. But I feel like the sustain from Sinistcha is still so good. The main thing to note is that they have 3 potential special attackers in Typhlosion, Gardevoir, and Archaludon. I guess actually, and Farigiraf. It's a quite specially oriented team. But Light Screen plus Healing plus Quash, I think, adds up. So I'm not like that scared. I also wouldn't bring Typhlosion if I were them into this matchup, right? Archaludon, Farigiraf. Okay. My question then is whether or not they've got Aura Sphere here on their Archaludon. If so, it's going to be actually kind of annoying for us to deal with. But I'm happy to start off by going for Light Screen here. And I'm actually down to Light Screen Protect on turn 1 to see if they have something like Helping Hand Aura Sphere. Like, they have Archaludon with no Rain on their team, right? So to me, it indicates you wouldn't want to run Electro Shot, which means you have more room for Aura Sphere. I'll set up Light Screen. Yeah. Okay, good to confirm that. Oh, that is a bad move to see. Psychic Noise stops healing. We might have just run into the #1 counter, and that is not a common move. Okay, based on that, I want to bring in Basculegion right now. I'm going to set up... would I actually rather Reflect or Ramp? Like, we're not going to get hit by a physical attack right now anyway. Basically, knowing that you have Psychic Noise now, I would like to Rain Dance, switch in Basculegion. Because then I threaten with Adaptability, Wave Crash, and a Farigiraf next turn. Like, they just revealed so much information, right? I'm threatened by Aura Sphere, and I'm threatened by Psychic Noise. Preventing healing is such a big deal on my Archaludon, right? Because it means I can't, like, just eat up an Aura Sphere. Yep, so they're going to go for it again. Cool. Psychic Noise, yep. We don't take that much. Great. So I'm, like, making an educated guess that they don't have Electro Shot here in Archaludon. I don't know if that's necessarily correct. But what I want to do now is set up a Reflect. I don't really need Reflect right now, but it helps against what they have in the back. So I'm like leaning towards Reflect and Wave Crash here into Farigiraf. The alternative is we reposition Sableye and get Archaludon out on the field, so it puts on more pressure. I actually think I like that a little bit more. But let's see. They could protect Farigiraf. They could switch it out. And let's see if they have Electro Shot on their Arch. Okay, this is huge. We get the Adaptability, Rain, Wave Crash in Farigiraf for a one-hit knockout, which means now you can't stop my healing, at least. So I'm happy about that, given how bad it looked on turn 1. Dragon Pulse into us. Okay, fine. Nice. The Dragon Pulse also makes me think you do not have the Electro Shot. And if that's the case, my Archaludon has a much better time in this matchup. So I kind of had to improvise here because Psychic Noise is not common on Farigiraf, but I just knew I couldn't lean into my regular Archaludon strategy of boosting up and taking hits. Gardevoir in now would make sense. It's Aerodactyl, which I'm fine with. Question is whether or not Aerodactyl protects right now, because you can pretty easily protect and just target Basculegion. Aura Sphere is obviously spooky. It's not Scarf or Archaludon on their end. If I were them, I would probably protect Aerodactyl. I'm leaning towards Electro Shot Archaludon here and actually just Wave Crash into Aerodactyl. It's Mega Aerodactyl. Okay, so that will allow them to be very fast here. That makes sense, although now I wish I Electro Shotted into that slot. Okay, they Tailwind, which I'm honestly fine with. Tailwind Dragon Pulse makes sense. Doesn't KO us with Light Screen. That probably just wins us the game. Let's go. Because now, Wave Crash into our Aerodactyl, Aerodactyl faints, Electro Shot into our Archaludon, I get a special attack boost, and I can bring in Sableye to quash. Although, I don't know if +1 Electro Shot +1 Dragon Pulse KOs their Archaludon. Let's see how bulky they are. Okay. Oh, that's a KO for sure. Yeah. Light Screen was so huge for us in this one. I could bring in Sinistcha first. What could they go into? Garchomp, Typhlosion, Gardevoir, but with no Mega Evolution available to them. Like, I think I'm happy to just go in Sableye first here. Hoping to see Garchomp probably the most. Nice. I have a defense boost here. Light Screen is still up. Yeah, I'm leaning towards just Quash Dragon Pulse into Arch. Because I know you have Aura Sphere, and that's scarier to me than Garchomp's attack. Could be Protect on Archaludon as they Earthquake, but then, like, you boost up Stamina. Nice. They don't. So as long as we don't get crit right now by Garchomp, we win the game. And they just Dragon Claw. Beautiful. And this is the beauty of Quash. You set up Tailwind, I don't really care. Nice. This is why I Electro Shotted Archaludon earlier, by the way, because you normally need 2 hits to get the knockout onto it, and I was like, I don't care about Aerodactyl being on the field, because it actually... Like, Archaludon wants to go up against Aerodactyl, right? So Light Screen wears off. We can just go for Dragon Pulse here, as well as Quash. Let's see if they're, I don't know, Focus Sash or Habomberry. And if you are, you still need to get a crit this turn. And I still have Sinistcha in the back. It is going to be the Habomberry. Okay. That still does so much. That was a crit. Okay, wow. I'm actually pretty impressed that it did not KO with the crit. So they're going to Earthquake. Nice. Archaludon just does not take that much. Stamina boost. Thank you for your service, Sableye. Rain stops. Leftovers. Mega Aerodactyl is like such an interesting Mega Evolution because it is so fast, but it still falls pretty easily to big super effective hits. Okay. Yeah, and they recognize Sinistcha's in the back. I can't win. So... This one was scary. I think we had to really improvise, but I'm like proud of recognizing one, I didn't think Archaludon would have Electro Shot based on their team. 2, getting rid of the Farigiraf so that I could heal with my Archaludon later on and finding the position to just Wave Crash into it. Because once Farigiraf fainted, I actually thought we were in pretty good shape. I think my opponent in this game had some opportunities to go for different targets. Like, for example, the turn that I knocked out Farigiraf, it could have been Dragon Pulse to just try to KO the Basket Legion. When Aerodactyl came in, I thought they could have just Mega Evolved and clicked Dual Wing Beat rather than going for Tailwind. Because I think they might have just, like, forgotten about Light Screen and thought, like, oh, I'll KO Basket Legion for sure. But to get a free knockout onto that Aerodactyl was, like, super nice, right? Had we knockout in the knockout, I think it still would have been fine, because then I would have still been able to get the Electro Shot of into Archaludon, and then Sableye can just Quash Dragon Pulse, and I'm not taking a lot of damage from the Aerodactyl. So part of the nice thing about Quash is, like, you can kind of just, like, ignore one slot and attack afterwards. But basically, Farigiraf was a huge nuisance for us because of Psychic Noise as well as Armor Tail, so we had to take care of it sooner than later. Charizard, Floette, Garchomp, Sneasler, Basket Legion, and King Gambit here. This is very much like the standard team running around right now. You'll see Aerodactyl over Sneasler, but these are just all really powerful Pokemon. So basically, like, there are a couple things to watch out for in this matchup. The first is, what Mega Evolution do we think our opponents will commit to? Normally, I've had opponents only bring Mega Floette. I've had some very smart opponents bring Floette and Charizard and just not Mega Evolve the Floette on turn 1. My go-to lead normally is still going to be Sableye plus the Archaludon. And then it's a question of what we like in the back. Sinistcha for healing is normally pretty nice because it helps against Floette a lot. And normally I end up bringing like Basculegion or Dragonite. But having played a game recently where my opponent brought Floette and Charizard, it made me think like maybe I should just be bringing Pelipper into a matchup. These three are just so fundamentally solid. Dragonite's like interesting because it can Hurricane, it can give us Tailwind, it can Draco into Garchomp. I'm going to bring in Pelipper. The main thing about Pelipper is that it ends up not being amazing if they don't end up bringing Charizard, but it's still okay because it gives me Tailwind pressure, it gives me Weather Ball, Hurricane into Sneasler, and all of those are like not bad for us. So let's see. Floette Gambit. Okay, makes sense. Against this, I lean towards going for an immediate Light Screen here into Flash Cannon. And the idea is to just burst Floette down. So we'll see. I'm curious. Like, if they don't Mega Evolve here on turn 1, it indicates to me there is a Charizard in the back. Yeah, they do Mega Evolve, so likely no Charizard. That's fine. Pelipper is still, like, not bad insurance. It just means that we don't have a ton of damage outside of our Archaludon, so we have to be really careful about how we use our Archaludon. We go for Light Screen. Just Dazzling Gleam. Okay, perfect. Gleam is like the best move to see here because it means our Archaludon just takes the least amount of damage from it and it stacks up a stamina boost, right? So let's say they low kick into our Archaludon. Well, then I'm taking even less damage. We'll get Flash Cannon off. It's a great trade for us. Just Kowtow. Okay, makes sense. Sableye. It's clutch, hangs on. Beautiful. Question now is whether or not we would like to reflect. Like, the play I lean towards is going for Quash into Floette and Flash Cannon into it. But they could protect Floette here. Okay, they make a switch, which also makes sense. Into Basculegion, sure. That's fine. Good switch by them. Could have been an opportunity to get a Reflect up. I don't think I really need the Reflect that much, so I'm fine with this outcome. Yeah, they'll take care of the Sableye. But now I can just bring in Pelipper, right? And I can Tailwind with it while Electroshotting, which is pretty good. So we get this in. Okay. So let's go for Tailwind here, and let's rip Electroshot into the Gambit slot. Basculegion, not as scary for our Archaludon. You're stacking up defense boost. They switch. Garchomp here makes sense. Perfect. So I think the main thing is I could have gone on a free Reflect up, but I think going for Quash was worth it because I did not want to get hit by like a Light of Ruin potentially there, right? So I think it's still important to cover for that option. And even without Reflect, we're in like fine shape right now. We get Tailwind up, which is huge. Our Archaludon now just has the speed advantage. Kowtow into us. Yep. Bulky Pelipper. So sick. So we could pretty easily Weather Ball right now into King Gambit. If you're my opponent, you probably want to protect Garchomp. I have Wide Guard. We have Sinistcha as well. I want to Electroshot King Gambit, I think. We could Weather Ball or we could Hurricane. I think Weather Ball here is fine. Electroshot into Gambit. Mainly because I could see Garchomp protecting this turn and then switching out into Floette next turn. So I don't want to... Yeah, exactly. Might be a sucker into Pelipper. Oh, okay, just a double protect. That's fine. It gives me a free special attack boost from Electro Shot, so I'll take that. Cool. I mean, I don't have to care about Garchomp that much right now, right? This next turn is huge. It's a question of, like, do we think they're going to switch in Floette into either slot? It's the last turn of Light Screen. 2 turns of Tailwind. I think the play I actually lean towards is... Think about bringing Sinistcha in. Electroshotting Gambit. Yeah. Basically, the logic here is they might want to Sucker Punch Pelipper. I KO the Gambit or anything that switches in, and Tailwind's about to expire, so I want to Trick Room on the last turn of Tailwind with Sinistcha. Let's see if Garchomp switched. They did it, yeah. Cool. They fail Sucker Punch. Nice. They'll probably bring in Basculegion out this next turn, which I think is a pretty strong bring for them. KO Gambit. Dragon Claw now would be my guess. Or a Stomping. It's actually Earthquake, which I'm fine with. Stamina boost. So yeah, now I think you bring in the Basculegion. If you bring in Basculegion, I Dragon Pulse Garchomp and Trick Room. And then it's like I can utilize Archaludon in Tailwind or Trick Room, right? If they bring Floette, I just Flash Cannon, Floette, Trick Room. So I think you have to bring in... Oh, they bring in Floette. Wow. That's huge. Okay. Right? Yeah, one more turn of Tailwind here. I think they had to go Bask there, in my opinion. So we're going to Trick Room on the last turn and Flash Cannon. Floette probably protects here as Garchomp Earthquakes, but I don't care. I have a stamina boost on Archaludon, right? And so you're just going to continue to boost me up. The only main scary thing here is that they could crit with Garchomp, but Floette is their win condition, right? I don't care about the physical damage from their end right now. So, yeah, they go for the obvious protect. Like, sure, I could have Dragon Pulsed into Garchomp, but it's not worth reading into that and then eating up a attack from Floette, knowing that I get to Trick Room here. So, like I said, the only thing we're worried about here is a critical hit. Let's see if they get it. Beautiful. And I'm willing to play those odds, right? It's like, in the world in which I say, oh, you're going to protect Floette for sure, and I Dragon Pulse Garchomp, and Garchomp just protects as Floette Moonblasts into Archaludon, I immediately lose the game. That, to me, is not worth it. So Tailwind Peters out at the perfect time. Now Archaludon is under Trick Room. This is a really cool game to showcase both means of speed control. I'm going to go Life Dew here, and then just Electro Shot into the Floette slot, which covers for a Basculegion switch in. Their best play is to actually, I don't know, like go for a double protect with Floette, and or like switch Floette out into Basculegion, sacrifice the Basculegion, but they stay in, so that should win us the game. Cool, so much healing on Archaludon. Here's Electro Shot. Nice. Floette faints. Perfect. Yep. Earthquake. Perfect. The main debate I have internally this next turn is, do I want to target Garchomp or Basculegion? They just end up forfeiting. I think I probably would have just gone Life Dew plus knockout Basculegion, so you can't sweep me with last respects. just because Garchomp could protect in that position. So, yeah. But I think that game was really cool because I showcased how you can utilize Pelipper to set up Tailwind and Sinistcha to set up Trick Room in the same game, and how Archaludon can operate under both. I think the main thing was just like Floette's public enemy #1. Turn 1, we didn't take a ton of damage from it. We got a lot of damage onto it. They felt forced to switch out, but then the remainder of their team was physical damage, and Archaludon is like, hey, I'm happy to just stack up the physical boosts, right? So thank you very much. Alolan, Ninetales, Sneasler, Gengar, Kingambit, Incineroar, Dragonite. This looks like the Mega Gengar Ninetales combos that have popped up from this past weekend's major tournament. Gengar can be disruptive. I mean, we have 3 ghost types, so we can break out of the trap pretty easily. I'm mainly wary of Encore Disable shenanigans from Gengar and Ninetales. Quash on Sableye should actually be a pretty big deal, potentially, to deal with that. I want to respect Freeze Dry on Ninetales, so I don't know if I love Pelipper. Like, I think Sableye inherently is pretty good. Sableye, Arch. Basculegion. Sinistcha. Sinistcha's intriguing to me because I think being able to redirect Encore Disable shenanigans is valuable. Our Dragonite's not bad here, but it doesn't feel necessary. Let's see. Gengar, Incineroar. Okay. I mean, there's always the threat of Perish immediately here. Like, I'm thinking about going for Light Screen here, switching our Archaludon out into Basculegion. It is a little bit risky, admittedly, but I don't want to end up, like, protecting and then just end up getting Encored. Although, I guess if you brought out Ninetales, it'd be okay. I just, am also wary about Perish Song here on turn 1, so I think I will Light Screen switch in Basculegion. But maybe I'm playing just a little bit too scared of Mega Gengar stuff. They Mega Evolve. So the idea here is it's like, if they play passive this turn, we have Basculegion out, which is then really well positioned, because I just threaten Rain Dance, Wave Crash. Like, ideally, Gengar protects here on turn 1, but... Okay, they go for Fake Out onto Arch, that's fine. We get Light Screen up. I would love to see a Perish Song right now, because it would basically just be useless for them. Okay, it's Shadow Ball, but it goes into Sableye, that's fine. That is fine. Okay. This next turn is interesting, right? I can go for Wave Crash. I can Rain Dance. I could Reflect. I think the obvious play is for Gengar to protect here. So I could pretty easily just Rain Dance, Wave Crash into Incineroar. I think Rain Dance Flip Turn is also not terrible here, honestly. It's kind of a middle ground play. Instant switches. Okay, fine. Kingambit makes sense. Yeah, perfect. Okay. It would have been flashy. Like, I could have gone Rain Dance, Wave Crash, try to KO Gambit here, but I think this, like, covers, everything pretty well, right? If Instant stays in, they try to attack, goes great. I just get a ton of damage off. If they switch out, well, I still deal a lot of damage to Kingambit here. Bait out to protect from Gengar. Now I get Archaludon in. So the other thing is that, like, people when they play against Sableye often do expect Encore, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Gengar fear Encore because I haven't revealed my full moveset yet. I'm going to take the opportunity to click Reflect right now, and I'm going to go for Electro Shock here to try to KO Kingambit because that is a bigger, like, long-term threat to Basculegion. If we get rid of Kingambit right now, Basculegion in the endgame is looking quite nice. The one thing to think about here is that they could have Alolan Ninetales, so they theoretically could switch in Ninetales to reset the weather, and then I would, like, spend a turn not getting an attack off. But even in that scenario, I actually think it's still fine. Like, that is not terrible. And they're actually just going to stay in with both, which is great. Cool. So we get Reflect up. They're just going to Shadow Ball into Sableye. That's fine by me. We'll see how bulky Kingambit is. Electroshock should knock it out unless something crazy happens here. Cool. Is a big knockout again. I think if you want to use Scarf Basculegion in the end games, knocking out your opponent's Kingambits is so huge. Incineroar back in. Okay. This is where Quash is kind of nice, I think, potentially, because I could Quash Electroshock Gengar later. They didn't switch in the threat of Encore. I think here, I also could, like... I don't want to hard switch these in at this point. I think it's kind of a liability. Gengar could disable. I don't want to reveal my other moves yet. I'm happy to Rain Dance here in case they switch into Alolan Ninetales. And Electroshot, although I'm probably going to get hit by a Fake Out on Archaludon and then Shadow Ball into Sableye is my guess, but that's fine. Yep. I think Sableye switching out into Sinistcha was a possibility here, but I didn't feel like I really needed to. Yeah, so we fail Rain Dance, but that's fine. Just covers for the world in which they hard switch Ninetales in to try to catch me with Electroshot. My guess is that they still have Ninetales in the back, right? So we want to show respect to that. But I think now I can bring in the Basculegion. Could be Dragonite, Ninetales, or Sneasler in the back. Ninetales makes the most sense by far here, in my opinion. If I were my opponent, I'd be switching Instant Out into Ninetales right now, protecting Gengar. I'm leaning towards flip turning Incineroar and flash cannoning it. Bingo. Nice. Even if Gengar doesn't protect her, it's still fine. And they don't, but by knocking out Ninetales, this now means I have Choice Scarf Basculegion endgame, which is all I can ask for. Cool. And it's basically like, even if they didn't bring in Ninetales there, Flip Turn Flash Cannon still does a lot of damage to Incineroar, right? So they're going to Shadow Ball into us, but we've got the Cassette Berry. And like I said, the main thing I did not want to like get caught here was trying to Electroshot. That was a crit, and we still survive with plenty of HP. Beautiful. There's Flash Cannon. Ninetales down. Nice. So we don't have the weather anymore, but it's fine. Yeah, one could argue that I could have brought Pelipper into this matchup instead, but I think Sinistcha is nice, especially because, like, the idea of having multiple ghost types just to make sure I don't, like, lose to Perish Trap is never bad to me. My guess is they don't even have Perish on Gengar, though, based on how this is played and their moveset. Gengar in. They can Shadow Ball into us. We still have Reflect up, which is big. Yeah, I mean, they should fake out Archaludon here, and I'm not going to give up my defense boost or my special attack boost. So they'll just stack me up once more. Dragon Pulse into Incin. Oh, they Shadow Ball into Arch. Okay. Oh, it does get a special defense boost there. I maybe should have gone for Rage Powder there, actually, just to cover for that option. Although Dragon Pulse does do a ton to Incineroar there as well. And we are faster with Sinistcha. Okay, that's nice. So I get the Life Dew off. Flare Blitz means you now faint from recoil. Or sorry, you don't faint from recoil. You take a lot in recoil. Okay, we actually even end up surviving that, which is kind of nuts. But it means now I can just safely go Rage Powder, Dragon Pulse. Yeah, and then they recognize the game's over. Cool. Yeah, I think maybe I like Rage Powdering there more just because the special defense boost, or drop specifically, makes things a little bit scarier. Because we don't care about instant damage into us. Had Sinistcha fainted there, I get a free switch into Basculegion though, and then like I can just go for Last Respects Gengar, Dragon Pulse into Incineroar. So maybe it didn't really make a difference, but yeah. I thought Fake Out into Archaludon Shadow Ball into Sinistcha would have been a safer play from them. Dragonite, Basculegion, Floette, Milotic, Sneasler, Hisuian Samurott. Electroshock looks insanely good here. There's a couple watchouts. Floette, burst damage. An immediate close combat from Sneasler won't knock us out, but it also will burst us. So something like Sneasler Floette lead is probably most threatening. Milotic could Hypnosis us, and then Sacred Sword from Hisuian Samurot's another thing to pay attention to. Triple Water, though, means Electroshot's obviously really solid for us here with Archaludon. Sableye, Arch, Sinistcha for sure. Probably Basculegion fourth. I don't think Dragonite does much for us here. We don't really need the Fire type or Draco Meteor damage. I don't think we need Pelipper either. Yeah, I think Basculegion just offers us so much late game offense here. Let's see what they go with. Samurott Floette. Okay. This is actually pretty scary depending on the Samurott set. Like, I think turn 1 I lean Light Screen, Protect. The sequence I have in my head right now is Light Screen, Protect turn 1, Rain Dance, Electroshot, Samurott turn 2, Quash, Flash Cannon, Floette turn 3. I don't know if that'll actually work out though. We'll see. Depends on who they target here on turn 1. I want to scout out for what the Samurott wants to do. It could obviously Sacred Sword into Archaludon, which is my primary concern. It also could just like Ceaseless Edge here. But I want to guarantee that I at least get Light Screen up to start while not getting burst down with Archaludon. However, this opens the risk of them doubling into Sableye right now. And Samurott moves first and goes for Night Slash. Wow, that does a ton. Light of Rune into us. Okay. Okay. Night Slash, and it moved before Floette, so this is Scarf Samurott, right? Which means... Oh. Light of Rune is spooky. It's not going to KO us. But it'll do a ton. The question is whether or not they double up into Archaludon. Because what I want to do is Reflect right now. Flash Cannon into Floette. They switch it out into Sneasler. Okay. Are they going for Light of Rune? I mean, I'm going to survive Light of Rune, and then they're going to KO themselves, which is huge, because then I can just start sustaining. Oh, they go for Dazzling. Do I survive that with Roselli plus the ranged Light Screen on that? Oh, like, dude, that's huge. Okay. It was actually correct for them, though, to go for that. Okay, so we get a Flash Cannon off. I have Quash this next turn, but I'm not sure I can get it off. I was really hoping they would Light a Rune there and then just KO themselves. Would have been funny. I think I'm okay actually just setting up Rain Dance right now, protecting Arch. Right? I've gotten both screens up. You're going to let me get all 3 moves off with Sableye, which is exactly what I want. And then I get a free switch into Basculegion, which is pretty good. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Sneasler hard pivots out. Okay. Into Samurott. But that means this next turn I can just Quash Flash Cannon Floette should they target the Archaludon with Light of Ruin here. They might just Dazzling Gleam again, which is fine. Yeah, they do. The main interesting thing here is, do we think Flip Turn gets the knockout in Rain adaptability against Floette? Otherwise, I could just Wave Crash Electroshock, but then I eat up a Night Slash. I could also switch in Sinistcha right now. I think I want to go Basculegion here. Honestly, I do think Flip Turn gets the KO onto Floette. Yeah, so I'm leaning Flip Turn Floette here, just Electroshot. But Floette could obviously protect, and they could just Night Slash Basculegion. Okay, they just Sacred Sword. Nice. With Reflect up, I was fairly sure I would survive a Night Slash. Now we get Flip Turn. Beautiful. Okay. Choice Scarf Hisuian Samurott, though, actually really scary here, but in the end, it is not enough. So we bring in Sinistcha for healing. And then we one-shot their Samurott. And with Samurott gone, should just clear the game for Basculegion. But I do want to do the Hisuian Samurott Night Slash damage calc in a Basculegion with Reflect up. Night Slash also has a higher crit chance. So if they crit there, right, and target Basculegion, I just lose the game on the spot. So it's probably higher odds for them to target Basculegion. Whereas like the play that they made ends up just like, yeah, winning me the game, I think. Archaludon's basically nearly back to full HP, and they just end up forfeiting. Cool. Let's pull up that damage calc, because I am really curious. I think with Reflect up, it should not KO, but obviously they could still crit us through Reflect, given Night Slash's higher crit chance. So you can see here, Sharpness, Night Slash through Reflect, even from the strongest Hisuian Samurott. Let's Choice Scarf does 97% maximum. And actually, we are Jolly Basculegion. And so that means that they had to have been Jolly on the Samurott in order to actually outspeed us with 32 speed here. Because if you're admin here, as you can see, it is slower than Jolly. So that means that you actually do even less damage with Jolly Nature here, capping out at 88%. But think still would have given them a better shot there because, of course, you have the chance to get a critical hit through the Reflect here. But honestly, Hisuian Samurott, really cool Pokemon to counter Choice Scarf Basculegion in most scenarios, right? Because you do outpace it and threaten it with a knockout if Reflect isn't up, and Reflect isn't that standard in this metagame. Floette Rain. Interesting. This team is really offensive, so I am a little bit wary of Archaludon getting burst down. And then I'm also debating if I want to bring Dragonite in this one or not. It's like pretty good against everything that's not Floette. Basically, it's like Sableye Archaludon lead for sure. Pick 2 of 3 of the remaining bottom ones. No ghost resistances, so Scarf Basculegion's okay. If I were them, let's work backwards. What would I bring? Floette, Archaludon, Dragonite, Basque, maybe? Maybe I do want my Dragonite for speed control with Tailwind. It's just kind of a liability into Floette, so I'm just thinking Basculegion Sinistcha here. Let's see. I do think their team has a lot of scary things, and if their Archaludon is faster and or has Aura Sphere, for example, that could be spooky. Floette Basculegion. I'm okay with this. Like, against this, I think it's just Light Screen Flash Cannon turn 1 into Floette. Quash Flash Cannon or Electro Shot turn 2 if they bring in Rain. Basculegion normally flip turns into Sableye here. You could Wave Crash into it. That's fine. The way that you want to approach this is knock out Floette before they get to do too much damage to Archaludon. Flash Cannon's going to be a 2-hit knockout onto it, right? And with Quash, it means that the next turn can just delay their attack and KO them before they get the chance to move. Scariest would be actually just like a Wave Crash Light of Ruin into Archaludon here. Get Light Screen up. Dazzling Gleam, perfect. Also, you'll notice Floette moved before the Basculegion, so it is not Choice Scarf Basculegion, which is important information. It might just be a Wave Crash and a Sableye then here, which actually is kind of scary for us. Yeah, it's Liquidation. If it's Liquidation, it's normally going to be Focus Sashed. But Sableye is clutch and hangs on. Very nice. The thing is, they could Aqua Jet here, which is higher or not higher priority, same priority as Quash, right? And they're going to be faster. It's definitely Sash Basculegion based on the fact they're running Liquidation. White Herb Sneasler then probably. Lefties, Arch. I am leaning towards switching in Sinistcha here and going for Flash Cannon into Floette. Basically, by switching in Sinistcha, I just guarantee that even if you have Light of Ruin on Floette, I'm not fainting with Archaludon. Kasi Berry is pretty good. They don't have any knockouts, or I haven't taken any knockouts yet, so that's good. Good switch by them. Okay, Floette hard switches into Pelipper. But now you've set up the rain for me, so I can start Electroshotting, which I don't mind. I'm really curious what Basket Legion wants to do here. Citrus on Pelipper makes sense here. Well, they do go for Last Respects, which covers for the Sinistcha switch-in, so nice play by them. But just doesn't do that much damage, yeah. Flash Cannon here, breaks potential Sash. Probably not going to be Sash there, though. I mean, I don't even... Yeah, another Last Respects doesn't KO Sinistcha, so, like, why don't we actually just go Trick Room right now? Electroshot into Pelipper. Well, that's one way to beat my screens. Psychic Fangs, which, of course, also can be used to give you coverage into Sneasler. Wakandberry. Do you survive this? Nope. The Wakandberry helps against, like, Thunderbolts from things like Rotoms, but not going to help against a boosted Archaludon here. We got Trick Room up now, so this is great for us, I think. Psychic Fangs, Liquidation. Okay, they bring out their own Archaludon. Makes sense. I don't have Light Screen up anymore, so I have to be a little bit wary of that. But honestly, here I think I'm down to just Matcha Gotcha, Electroshot into Basket Legion. Basket Legion should protect here if they have it, but they don't. Nice. Or they don't go for it. They may not have gone for it because they're like, oh, I'm Focus Sash, so I know I can get an attack off here. The reason why I'm okay doubling into the Basket Legion slot is because I know that even if you protect Basket Legion, Archaludon maybe gets one attack off. That's fine by me, right? And it's Citrus. Oh, interesting. They have Draco Meteor, but they're going to miss it. We would survive that, though. And in fact, I actually would have preferred for that to hit, because then you're just stuck at -2 special attack for the remainder of the game. Definitely a lucky miss, though, because it prevents a critical hit, but that Draco is not KOing us without a crit, even with no Light Screen. Had it connected, basically, then what I would have done is the next turn I would probably just redirect and go for Rage Powder with Sinistcha. But yeah, I'll pull up the damage calc afterwards and show how much special bulk our Archaludon has and why we don't actually need to be too worried about that. 2 turns of Rain, 3 turns of Trick Room. We have Quatch here in the end game and Basket Legion. So what we can do is go for Rage Powder here and go for Electroshot. Given that they were Citrus Berry, like the play I would make knowing that would be a Rage Powder just to get around a Draco Meteor critical hit and Electroshot. But I needed a cover for Focus Sash Basket Legion and I wanted the healing on Sinistcha as well. So they go for 0 for 2 on Dracos, unfortunately, which is not going to do them any favors. But yeah, had they hit that first Draco this turn, I probably would have just gone for the exact same play of Rage Powder Electroshot, right? Because it's like my Archaludon would be low, but unless it's Stalwart, actually. Wait, but we saw a defense boost, right, from Stamina? So that's not the case. Anyway, yeah, let's pull up the damage calc and see Modest max Archaludon into ours and how much that would do. Because we're like near max HP, max special defense, basically, on this Archaludon. Yep, you can see here, Draco Meteor from Modest Max Archaludon. Like, let's say you even have a Dragon Fang, for example, which is basically the strongest version of this attack, is never KOing our Archaludon with the special bulklet we have. So even if that Draco Meteor connects, you just drop really low in terms of special attack. I would go for Rage Powder the next turn and KO your Archaludon and KO the Floette, and then play the game from there. But, it takes away the chance of getting a critical hit, which is quite lucky for us because crits are like the one scary thing I think often for this team to deal with. Hey, there's a Heliolisk. I just made a video covering anti-meta Pokemon to try out, and I've got Basculegion, they've got Heliolisk. I'm very interested in this. Otherwise, it's Froslass, Aerodactyl, Sneasler, Kingambit, Basculegion. Not that much special damage on their end. It's mainly going to be Froslass, so this to me just kind of feels like a Sableye Archaludon lead. I mean, the Heliolisk actually is making me think about bringing Basculegion, which is funny. Go Sinistcha. I don't want to bring Pelipper into Heliolisk. Could be Dragonite 4th here, honestly. I'm down for it. We'll see if, like, they having Heliolisk in their team deters me from bringing the Basculegion, which I actually think is a pretty important Pokemon. The main thing here is that Froslass, like, just does not have a good time into Sableye, right? Because I can just Rain Dance as you're Mega Evolving, and poof, there goes the snow. It is Heliolisk Basculegion. Okay. What do I want to do here on turn 1? Like, I could just rip Rain Dance Electroshot into Basculegion. I think setting up a screen is never bad. I could see them Wave Crash Thunderbolting Sableye immediately. I think Light Screen is more important to get up here. I don't think Archaludon's really facing that much damage, so like Light Screen Dragon Pulse into Heliolisk feels fine. But maybe I'm underestimating Heliolisk because it could theoretically Focus Blast me right now. Okay, just Wave Crash. Yeah, that's fine. Oof! Does get the one-hit knockout, though. And now that means I can't go for Rain Dance. No Electro Shots. Okay. But it's just okay. Like, our Archaludon with Light Screen up is doing really meaningful damage. Their Basculegion now is caught in a really awkward position, and I think I can just bring Mega Dragonite in now. The main thing is losing the Weather War. Like, Sableye getting one-shot by Basculegion is a testament to Basculegion's strength, right? So I'm thinking we Mega Evolve right now, Tailwind with Dragonite. My guess is that Basculegion now switches out. Kingambit is a viable switch in, as is Froslass. And to be honest, I don't care about Heliolisk that much. So I'm going to Flash Cannon Basculegion because if they switch in Froslass there, it's like a game-winning play, in my opinion. But they stay in with both, which is fine. I think, though, like, Rain Dance Electroshot may have been better. No, I still think it's important to get Light Screen up because if you think about the long-term picture, Froslass is quite annoying. Okay, they're just going to Wave Crash Art or Dragonite. That's fine. Does break my multi-scale. Thunderbolt double into it. Makes sense. No paralysis. That's good. We get Tailwind. Cool. Now I angle for knockouts this next turn, right? Okay. Defense boost on this doesn't really matter that much. Like, I could switch in Sinistcha, but I think we just want to force some KOs right now. I think I'm okay going Flamethrower onto Heliolisk here. Dragon Pulse onto Basque. Okay. Heliolisk is toast. Now I actually kind of wish I did have my Basculegion in the back, but it's fine. Dragon Pulse. Their Basculegion hangs on. It's fine. You get one more Wave Crash on the way out. I mean, it's actually done a ton of damage to Dragonite. Like, I could have gone Draco Meteor Dragon Pulse instead, but I didn't want to be at -2 special attack. Because basically, I'm hoping they bring Froslass out and I can just, like, Flamethrower or Flash Cannon it for a KO. But I think this game highlights, like, Sableye did not do what I normally wanted to do, which is get both screens up and Rain Dance, right? Like, it just got one shot. So I could have gone Reflect on turn 1, but I don't know if Reflect is letting me survive Wave Crash Thunderbolt anyway. Froslass, the Vintage Beauty. And Sneasler. Okay. Fake Out into Dragonite Blizzard is kind of the obvious play right now. I think I'm leaning towards Flamethrowing Froslass, Flash Cannon into it. Then, even if you Fake Out, I get the Flash Cannon off. I bring in Sinistcha, Light Screen is still up for a turn, and I Trick Room Flash Cannon on the last turn of Tailwind. Is what I'm thinking right now. And if for some reason they don't Fake Out, we win. Fake Out into Arch. Okay. I mean, that means I get a Flamethrower off into Froslass, which I'll take, and you give me an immediate stamina boost. That's so much damage. Wow. Oh, the Aurora Veil. Wow, okay. I actually would have preferred for them to knock me out there to get the free switch in. So that was a good delay by them. Last turn of Tailwind, last turn of Light Screen. You would think they just protect both Pokemon right now. Oh, that was actually a big Aurora Veil. I think if they let me get Sinistcha in, game's over. I'm still gonna bring Sinistcha in right now, though, I think, and then Flash Cannon into Froslass. This way I can go for Rage Powder the next turn to redirect a close combat away. Sneasler protects. I mean, it should be a double protect here. Yeah. Okay. Sneasler moved first as well. That's good. That is good. Light Screen wears off. Tailwind peters out. But now I go Rage Powder, Flash Cannon, KO Froslass. They probably go Dire Claw Blizzard, KO Sinistcha. Archaludon takes a bunch of damage, but like the stamina boosts have stacked up pretty meaningfully at this point, right? So I wanted to make sure I had Sinistcha out on the field to make sure I could redirect close combat away. As a result, they're forced to Dire Claw, but that's fine. As long as it means I don't eat up a close combat right now, I'm happy with that. And you can see Archaludon takes the Blizzard pretty well, actually, as long as we don't get frozen. Freeze is like the bane of my existence. It's how I lost one of the games I played in the tournament with this team. Cool. Froslass faints. And now stamina has stacked up a lot, right? So Archaludon is in a pretty good spot because every single close combat you go onto it, you'll just keep stacking up my defense boosts. So the main thing is avoiding critical hits in this endgame. 2 turns of Snow left, plus 3 defense. You've got 2 turns of Aurora Veil. We don't have Protect here, so I actually would want to just... Actually, have they close combated yet? No, right? Because they could be White Herbs, so it's actually better to just, like, Draco here. Actually, I'd rather get guaranteed damage with Flamethrower, I think. And Flash Cannon here, which can lower their special defense. Okay, they close combat into us, but that's not going to KO without a crit. Nice. Stamina boost. Yeah, there's the White Herb. So that's why I didn't want to Tailwind here, because if I Tailwind, great, like, it doesn't matter because they're still going to be faster than us. And Flash Cannon does get that special defense drop, which is quite fortunate. I could click Hurricane or Draco Meteor here, but I felt like I basically should have a guaranteed win because of Archaludon being so bulky. So I didn't feel like I needed to. Either of these will KO at this point. Yeah, and it's like Dragon Pulse is slightly higher base power, but the chance of special defense just wins the game for me immediately, right? Because now either of these moves will get a knockout. I actually don't think another close combat even KOs Archaludon. And yeah, like... The reason I'm not protecting there is specifically because I think I could lose the game if I protect. They Dire Claw KO me, and then close combat crit KOs me the next turn. So, yeah. Had they Dire Claw Dragonite the previous turn, Archaludon gets a Flash Cannon off, and it's like a 3-hit knockout with Dragon Pulse damage. So then what I would do is like protect the next turn, get more leftovers recovery, Dragon Pulse, protect, etc. Gengar, Sylveon, Politoed, Blastoise, Archaludon, Talonflame here. They have a lot of special attackers, so this is like not amazing for Archaludon. They also have their own Archaludon, which is like not super fun. Like, I think Light Screen still gives us immense value, so I'm leaning Sableye Arch. I think we need Basculegion for Wave Crash pressure. And then it's between Sinistcha and Dragonite. I lean Sinistcha here just because I think our Archaludon can still stack up and win in the long run. Whereas, like, Dragonite's not really offering me that much here, in my opinion. And I don't think Pelipper does anything for us, given that they have an Archaludon on their team. So let's see. Gengar, Blastoise. Sableye, Archaludon. Definitely a free Light Screen here on turn 1. I don't think this is going to be Perish. I'm down a Light Screen Dragon Pulse into Gengar. It's going to be Mega Blastoise. Can Rain Dance Electro Shot that next turn. Although I am vulnerable to Aura Sphere here. And then it's not Mega Gengar. I would have guessed the other way around. Regular Blastoise, Mega Gengar. So that's interesting. Is this Trick Room coming out from their end right now? It's definitely Trick Room. Interesting. Okay. Here's the problem. I've got Quash, which is obviously a pretty good move, but I don't have Rain Dance set up right now. So basically, like, I want to Electro Shot, but I'm obviously vulnerable to just eating up. Like, and if I Rain Dance, their Water Spot damage gets increased. I think I'm still going to go Rain Dance Protect here, though. With the expectation, like, if Sableye somehow survives this turn, I get to Quash Electro Shot next turn. But that was a really nice play. Like, I wasn't expecting Trick Room Gengar. So the question here is, do they Aura Sphere or do they Water Spout? Because if they Water Spout, I am cooked, I think. Although maybe Sableye survives Water Spout, actually, with Light Screen up. Oh, okay, how much do we take? Okay, we survived that. That's big. That's big. I have Quash now, so I'm going to go for Quash Electro Shot, but they could pretty easily just protect Blastoise. They have Aura Sphere, they have Water Spout. Question is, do you have Protect? It's kind of hard to fit Protect on these movesets, and we don't see a Protect, which is huge. However, now my question is, does +1 Electro Shot even KO? Because it might not. And if it doesn't KO, I'm definitely cooked. If it knocks out, though, we're actually in fine shape, I think. Because then I just bring in Sinistcha for healing. I suspect it's not going to get the knockout because Blastoise should be pretty bulky here. So I think this game highlighted the combination of all the special damage from their end and surprising me with Trick Room and bursting me while getting Trick Room up was really nice from their end. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Archaludon, I'm sorry for doubting you. That's huge. Okay. So now the idea is I can bring in Sinistcha and start healing a ton, right? Bring in Sinistcha, Life Dew this turn. And then I survive a Hyper Voice. But that was definitely a very scary turn 1 in my opinion. I could also reverse Trick Room here, but I don't think we want to do that right now. I think I'm happy to just get like so much healing on Archaludon. So Life Dew here. Protect. Once Trick Room expires, Scarf Basculegion is also awesome. Sinistcha here should survive Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, double up with Light Screen, plus Ghost Resist Berry. Yep. It's actually so nice that Sylveon attacks first, then Sinistcha, because essentially just negates all that Hyper Voice damage. Like, they net did 8 damage to us with that. And they Shadow Ball to Arch. Perfect. Beautiful. How many turns of Trick Room are left? It's the last turn. So actually, I don't mind going for a Life Dew here. What could their final Pokemon be? Their own Archaludon? I'm leaning Life Dew Electro Shot here into Gengar. Because we'll survive a Hyper Voice from Sylveon for sure. It is Moonblast, but Light Screen is up. It's fine. Nice. No special attack drop. Huge. Perfect. So the idea is like, hey, look, I know Trick Room's about to end, so I'll just outpace your Sylveon anyway. I'd rather knock out the Gengar, knowing that it is the slowest Pokemon out right now, will be the fastest post-Trick Room. Bye-bye, Gengar. Nice. Electric Shock gets disabled. I think it's fine. We're already at +2. Don't really need to worry too much about it. Light Screen wears off. I can just pressure Flash Cannon Sylveon now. Yep, it's Archaludon in the back for them. Cool. That works for me. Last turn of Rain. I am happy to just Rage Powder here. Flash Cannon into Sylveon. The thing about Archaludon endgame is, like, last respects from Basculegion, we shouldn't expect a KO. Sylveon detects, but it's fine, right? If it detects now, it can't detect next turn, and, like, their Archaludon needs a couple of attacks to really get going. So I'd rather just force Sylveon to protect and then KO it this next turn. And they Draco, which is perfect. Now you just don't do any damage. Yeah, and Sinistcha takes that like a champ. Perfect. Cool. We're, like, in this endgame, we're essentially, like, saying, hey, the game is won. I just need to not get crit on Archaludon. And basically, now I'm like, well, I'm going to deny my opponent any opportunity of critting us. And yeah, they end up forfeiting. Cool. But even if, you know, that Draco would crit Sinistcha, free switch into Basculegion, I can just go last respect Sylveon, Dragon Pulse into their Arch, right? Given that they're Draco, you just don't do that much damage to us. Interesting team. Manectric, Whimsicott, Farigiraf, Corviknight, Tyranitar, Paldean, Tauros. So you could keep Manectric and not Mega Evolve for Lightning Rod, which is kind of neat. Where does the offense really index from? Like, feels like Sableye, Arch is fine. Because they have Tyranitar, like, Pelipper is a little bit more intriguing. But I think Sableye, Arch, Sinistcha for sure. Honestly, Dragonite's kind of intriguing to me here. We could go Basculegion. Manectric scares away Pelipper a little bit more. I mean, Pelipper's not terrible for Wide Guard here either, and more weather control, but I think I'm down for Dragonite. Mainly because it gives me Flamethrower into Corviknight. And Hurricane into Paldean, Tauros, and Whimsicott. So let's see. Manectric, Whimsicott. Okay. I mean, against this, I feel like it's just Light Screen Flash Cannon turn 1. And then the main thing we want to respect would be, like, Endeavor from Whimsicott. Manectric could have Snarl, which would be kind of disruptive here. So let's see if they do. My question is where the damage is going to come from their end. Because I think these two Archaludon's not that scared of, even though they're special attackers. But the main thing to be wary of is we just don't want to click Electroshot until Manectric commits its Mega Evolution. Manectric's head is so big relative to its body in this game. It just looks so funny. Yeah, and they don't Mega Evolve, which is smart. Just Moonblast, that's fine. Start stacking up. Yeah, that barely does anything. Stamina boost number 1. Is it Snarl? Nope, it's Volt Switch. Okay. My guess is now you go into Corviknight, but like I don't really care about Corviknight with Archaludon. Part of the theory behind Archaludon was trying to beat things like Milotic and Corviknight and having a super positive matchup into them. So like I'm fine with this. And it's not Sash Whimsicott either. It makes sense because they have Tyranitar in their team. But now you probably bring the Manectric back in. But like I've already gotten a defense boost on this Archaludon, right? Manectric in. They probably don't Mega Evolve. Pretty free opportunity to just set up a Reflect right now. Honestly, I'm down to just Reflect Dragon Pulse here. Like, I don't care if Manectric protects and Corviknight Iron defenses. It's fine. With Reflect up, it's not that scary. So Manectric is, like, providing pretty cool support for Corviknight, but I think I just kind of win in terms of the damage trade-off in the long run, so I'm fine with that. This is where if I had Encore on Sableye, I think it would be really devastating, because I could probably just Encore Corviknight into what presumably will be an Iron defense coming up. Yep. But, like I said, I don't really care about these Iron defenses for now. Question is whether or not Manectric now pivots out. I'm happy to set up Rain Dance here. I mean, you would think Tyranitar is their last one. Sableye's not fainting this turn anyway. I think I'm fine going Dragon Pulse Rain Dance. Honestly, actually, Quash Dragon Pulse onto Manectric feels fine here. I don't need the Rain Dance this turn, in my opinion. Yeah. Cool. This should do like 40-ish% to it, which is meaningful damage. I said 40. I did 73%. Wow. Corviknight Iron defenses again, but once again, it's fine. Like, sure. We'll switch. T-Tar in now, probably. Yep. I think the expectation now is either Tyranitar... Like, if I were them, I would go switch Tyranitar back into Manectric. So I could Rain Dance here for sure. Part of me actually wants to just Electro Shot here. I don't think Brave Bird even KOs us right now. Debate is, do I want to Rain Dance Flash Cannon or do I want to just rip Electro Shot here? I'm kind of down to go for Electro Shot. Okay, they make the switch. It's like kind of obvious. I could have Flash Cannon into it, but I'm still fine with it in the long run. Because it's like, I just don't take that much damage from Corviknight, is the thing. And like, I felt like there was a world in which they would maybe try to just stay in with Tyranitar because the switch in is so obvious. So I was willing to like have an opportunity and take the chance to win the game on the spot. Yeah, they'll go for another Iron defense, but like once again, that's fine. If I were them, I would protect Manectric right now. We still have both screens up, which is great. +1 defense and Reflect up. I'm down to switch in Sinistcha right now, I think. Switch in Sinistcha, and I think Protect with Archaludon is what I'm leaning towards, because I think Manectric should Protect here. Yeah. The thing is, like, Iron Defense doesn't really spook me out that much because I have Sinistcha, right? And I can just redirect your Body Presses away. Yep, Manectric protects. Cool. Arch protects. Yeah, Body Press. Fine. Light Screen wears off. This turn is interesting because it's like, if you're a Manectric, do you pivot out into Tyranitar? You probably should. I'm happy to just Rage Powder here. Flash Cannon into the Manectric slot. I think had I, predicted the Manectric switch in earlier, which I thought was maybe like a little bit too obvious, we would have just won the game on the spot. So I was willing to like play a little aggressively there, but it's fine. It just feels like all of their damage is in like the Corviknight basket right now, and like it's just not that scary. So T-Tar in. Flash Cannon. So much damage. Brave Bird, sure. Yep, Sinistcha tanks that like a champ. You should protect Tyranitar right now. Go for another Brave Bird onto Sinistcha. But I'm fine just going Rage Powder here. Flash Cannon. Curious what Tyranitar set this is. But we're getting really close. Cool. Does T-Tar outspeed Arch is my question right now. It doesn't. Okay, that I feel like should put me in a really winning spot. I assume it's Brave Bird, Iron Defense, Roost, Body Press on Arch. Or sorry, on Corv. And they try to Body Press us. Yeah, I get the attempt there. Like, it feels like they're kind of behind, so you kind of hope for a mistake on my end. But I'm not going to give that to them. Yeah. I think in this matchup, it's just so heavily favored towards us. And it's like part of the downfall of Manectric, in my opinion, which is that it is not a support, or sorry, a real damage dealer. And so it's like they went all in on Corviknight in this game. And I was just like, I'm going to just keep stalling things out because I know I'll beat your Corviknight in the long run, right? Archaludon with the defense boost, with the amount of defense we have, with Reflect, like I'm just not really threatened by Corv. We've got some hyper offense here. Okay, Typhlosion, Whimsicott, Farigiraf, Kingambit, Gardevoir, Torkoal. Sableye, Archaludon. Fine. Even if there's Sunny Day, Whimsicott, Sableye's slower, so they'll set up Sunny Day first, then we'll get Rain Dance up, so that's fine. It is a pretty specially oriented team, which is like a little bit spookier for the Archaludon. There's a Trick Room component. If they wanted to go Trick Room, they could go Farig with Kingambit, Torkoal in the back. Gardevoir is going to be their Mega Evolution. I think we go Sableye, Archaludon, Pelipper here. Fourth one is up for grabs. Leaning Sinistcha, but I actually think Dragonite has some merit here as well. So let's see. Whimsicott, Gardevoir. Okay, I mean, this feels like turn 1 Light Screen Flash Cannon, Gardevoir, turn 2 Quash Flash Cannon, but I guess they could double Moonblast my Gardevoir. Or sorry, my Sableye. Which is a little bit spooky. If this is like faked here as Whimsicott, I actually think it's also a little bit scary. Tailwind, though. Okay. I am fine with that. You're always going to be faster than me anyway, basically, in this matchup. So I think it's kind of just a waste of a move on Whimsicott, which means, like, because then now Quash is even more effective next turn, right? Okay. So we'll Flash Cannon. Nice damage. Here I lean towards Quash Flash Cannon Gardevoir. Yeah. Cool. Gardevoir's gone. Whimsicott can Moonblast us. That's fine. Dazzling Gleam wins. Okay. Another stack for Archaludon. Tailwind, Dazzling Gleam. Any combination of Encore, Taunt, Fake Tears, Sunny Day. I mean, you could run Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast, which would be kind of surprising to me. Typhlosion. I mean, this is just a Rain Dance angle for sure. I don't want to protect. I don't need to switch. So basically, I was going to say it's a Rain Dance angle. Then I was like, oh, I can switch in Pelipper. But basically, the main thing here is that Whimsicott could have Sunny Day. So I don't want to get caught off guard by switching in Pelipper and then having them Sunny Day. So I'm going to Rain Dance here. And Electroshot into Typhlosion. We don't want to protect here with our Archaludon because... Oh, they actually hard switch. Okay. Into Farigiraf. Sure. What's Whimsicott doing here? Dazzling Gleaming, I guess? Yeah. Fine by me. Crits my Archaludon, that's fine. I can now bring in Sinistcha and actually Trick Room Electroshot, I think, which should win us the game. Okay. Citrus. Nope, leftovers. Cool. They're faster than us. Oh, Tailwind's up, obviously. So, Sinistcha in now. All the nice healing. I think we don't want to lose to Whimsicott actually having Sunny Day. So here, I'm okay clicking Trick Room. And Flash Cannon into Whims, I think. They do have Sunny Day. That's exactly why we don't Electroshot there. Cool. Psychic's fine. And then the main thing is we just want to get around Encore potentially next turn if there's Sash Whims here, which they are. And to get around Encore, we just Rage Powder with Sinistcha this next turn. Sunny Day, Dazzling Gleam, Tailwind on Whimsicott. Tailwind peters out. Yeah, let's just go Rage Powder here. Flash Cannon. Basically, it's like you just don't want to be caught off guard and click Electroshot if you think your opponent can change the weather. They can still Encore the Archaludon here, by the way, because it's immune to Grass typing, but it's fine. Yeah. Like, basically, I'm like, I don't think we lose this unless I fall for Whimsicott's tricks, and so we just want to cover for all of its, yeah, shenanigans. And as you can see here, Ferg actually underspeeds us, so outspeeds us after the Tailwind under Trick Room, but that's fine. Whimsicott's down now. And this is why we brought Pelipper in the back, because of the threat of Sunny Day. Light Screen wears off, but I think it has certainly served its purpose here. They could have switched in Frigg, by the way, to block Quash on turn 2, but like if you're doing that, then you're not getting an attack off with Whimsicott, and Flash Cannon still KOs Gardevoir anyway, so it's fine. We're Encored here. I think we just switch in Pelipper now. Electroshot into... I actually don't mind Electroshotting into Typh or Farigiraf here. I guess I could Helping Hand Shadow Ball. Typhlosion's often Scarfed here, which is why I'm also willing to target it. And even if they protect and Farigiraf reverses Trick Room, like, what is Typhlosion going to do in the rain, right? I just wanted to cover for... Wait, are we speed tying with Farigiraf on Archaludon? Because I thought they Psychic first last turn. Well, that's interesting if so. Nice. Bye-bye Typhlosion. Hyper Offense, I think, generally, if you do not win the game in the first, like, 2 turns and deal enough damage, you kind of just fold. Expires by them reversing it. That's why they were faster. Okay, that makes more sense. It's like a speed tie there does not make much sense to me. Yeah. Very nice. I think the team was a little bit scary, but like Whimsicott ended up being a liability for my opponent, right? And you don't get to execute the Sunny Day stuff when I have Sableye with Rain Dance. Froslass, Milotic, King Gambit, Basculegion, Sneasler, Dragonite. This is a Sableye Archaludon game for sure. Sableye, Arch, Sinistcha +1, I think. All of our Pokemon are okay. Like, honestly, this trio is so strong that it's like I feel like any of the remaining can work. But I want to work backwards and think about what my opponent should bring. I'd bring Froslass. I'd bring Gambit. I'd bring Dragonite. Sneasler, maybe. Kind of like Basculegion 4th here. Pelipper. It gives me some additional weather control. I don't think we really need it, though. I think Basculegion is just so much offense. Yeah. I actually think Dragonite's also not a bad pick. The main problem is their Mega Evolution is Froslass, and so obviously I don't want to eat up a Blizzard from it. Froslass, Sneasler. Okay. There's a lot of burst damage here. I want a light screen. I do risk. It's like they could close combat Blizzard here on turn 1, which is the scary thing. I could light screen switch into Basculegion. I'm going to Protect Arch, but it is a fairly obvious Protect, so let's see if they predict it. Because I've had opponents in this situation go Aurora Veil, close combat. I've had opponents go Blizzard, Dire Claw into the Sableye slot. I just don't think I can risk eating up a close combat and a Blizzard on turn 1. But Sneasler protects, which I'm okay with. Okay. If they Aurora Veil, this could have been Rain Dance Electroshot on turn 1. Either way, I'm fine with it. Oh, okay. Shadow Ball. Cool. I almost thought about switching in Basculegion there, by the way, so I'm very glad I didn't. I am happy now to go for a Reflect and a Flash Cannon. Yeah, I think they are afraid of Encore, so they switch out here, bringing King Gambit. But now I've got him both screens up. I can take a Shadow Ball, and next turn I can just Rain Dance Electroshot or Quash Flash Cannon. And they Shadow Ball Sableye, nice. So, like, Archaludon not taking any damage in the first 2 turns of the game is, like, incredible for us, in my opinion. That's so much damage. Yeah, I'm happy to Rain Dance now. Electroshot into Gambit. I'm targeting Gambit here because without Froslass protecting or switching made some sense, and also Gambit's a bigger threat to the late game Basculegion, so we want to 2-shot it. And they try to Aurora Veil, but no dice. Nice. I mean, I think the game is over from here, honestly, as long as we don't make any egregious mistakes. So it's the strength of this combo. Hotel. Cool. They have no switch-ins into Electro Shot, so we can just continue to click that. We don't want to switch into a Kowtow here for my opponent's end. I don't want to reveal any of my other... specifically, I don't want to reveal Quash, so we don't want to click it here. Unless I'm going to try to KO Froslass. It's kind of weird, because it's like, I could switch him. I don't want either of these to eat up any damage. So I'm actually happy to just click Rain Dance once more right now. Electro Shot. Actually, maybe it's fine to just Quash Froslass, Electro Shot it. I think that's fine. Yeah. Cool. So we get Archaludon to +2, and we get rid of their main special attacker in Froslass. Froslass isn't that scary unless it freezes us. And so, like, that was what I was worried about, but then they committed to clicking Shadow Ball instead, which was great. Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, at this point, now we have +2 special attack. Archaludon with both screens up. Like, how are they getting through this, right? I'm happy to bring in Basculegion in first here. They bring Sneasler. Yep. Last turn of... There's two turns of Reflect, 1 turn of Light Screen. Arch kind of just wins here. They probably want to fake out into Archaludon, Kowtow, Cleave into Basculegion. I survive a Sucker Punch because Reflect is up. Yep. I think Flip Turn probably gets this knockout. Happy to just Flip Turn Electro Shot. Okay, they just Sucker us. But yeah, like I said, we survive. So no need to worry about that. Flip Turn. Sweet. Crits Gambit may have mattered. I actually don't know what that specific role is, but it's fine. I'm guessing they're close combating into Arch, so this is their chance to get a critical hit onto us. No crit. Nice. That should be game over then. Let's see if you're White Herb or Sash. White Herb. Nice. So you just feint to Electro Shot now. Sweet. 3v1. I just Rage Powder, Electro Shot, whatever the final one is. Yeah. I think, as you can see, in this game, it's like my opponent, you know, went for Shadow Ball rather than Blizzards, and they didn't get Aurora Veil up, and like, tried to Aurora Veil when I Rain Dance, and so it's like, probably could have been made a little bit tougher if they, like, reversed the sequencing of those, but in the end, like, I think we just had such a major team advantage, and, like, yeah, we just wall the physical damage so nicely. Scovillain, Trick Room, Sun here. Sun, Torkoal, Aegislash, Farigiraf, King Gambit, Scovillain. If I were my opponent, it's probably something like Scovillain, Farigiraf lead. Basically, there's like a couple of approaches we can take here. Like, Dragonite's actually pretty good. I'm leaning Sableye, Archaludon, Dragonite, and Pelipper in this one since they have double weather over Sinistcha. And I don't think we need the healing that much. I thought about leading Sableye, Dragonite, because against Scovillain, we can just Rain Dance, Mega Evolve, Hurricane on turn 1. But I also think it's like if you lead Scovillain, Archaludon's not really that threatened. So I can just set up screens. Yeah. And start boosting up. I mean, they could have like an overheat here, right? Like, I don't hate going for Light Screen, Protect on turn 1, and then afterwards Rain Dance, Electro Shot. But Scovillain switches, fine. Torkoal can Gambit. Okay. That's probably the play they would have made if I stayed in with Dragonite, so like I'm fine with this. I just Reflect Dragon Pulse next turn probably. It also means they don't get to Mega Evolve Scovillain immediately. From up. Maybe I should have brought in Sinistcha, honestly. I don't know, but I felt like Pelipper and Dragon were pretty good here. I'm going to Reflect now. Dragon Pulse into Farigiraf. They get like Helping Hand low kick us. Farigiraf switches. Maybe back at a Scovillain or Torkoal. Okay, Scovillain in. It's fine. Flock goes up. Ooh. That could be a problem. That very much could be a problem. So there's Sword Stance. I can Rain Dance now. Electro Shot. But now they can go Mega Evolve, Rage Powder, Kowtow, Cleave. Sword Dance is really cool. I think that is like the one thing like can go toe-to-toe with the Archaludon because you boost faster than I get my defense boost. That's really nice. It's funny because like the standard... Oh, and they don't Rage Powder either. Interesting, okay. Although it's not like Electro Shot one-shots Gambit here, so it's not like... Yeah, this works out super well for us. The Kowtow to Sableye. Does that even KO us? The HP bar moves so quickly there. I feel silly for even questioning it. Overheat, which will survive. Yeah, it actually just tickles us, which is not bad. And gives us a defense boost, which is actually really important in surviving Kowtow Cleaves a little bit better. I mean, to be honest with this, I can just bring in Dragonite, right? Cool. I think we have to be wary of them switching in Torkoal, potentially. So I don't want to Electro Shot in case Torkoal comes in. I think it's better to Dragon Pulse. Leaning towards Mega Evolving. Like Flamethrower here covers if they switch in Torkoal. I just don't know if it KOs without the Sun. They could just Rage Powder right now, right? And then Kowtow Cleave into either slot. I mean, I think it's still fine to Flamethrower here, Dragon Pulse. My dream would be let Scovillain switches out into Torkoal right now. Oh, let's go. Yeah, I feel like this should win us the game. Swords Dance got spooky, but I think once they ignored Archaludon for one turn and didn't give me gave me a defense boost, we were in good shape. This is not KOing us. Yeah, that didn't even bring us down to half. So I think they were hoping that I would click Electro Shot again, but that's the one thing I thought I had to be wary of, and we don't fall for it. So, nice. Cool. It's a crit, but Flamethrower boosted in the sun. Don't think it makes too much of a difference. And now you have no offense left with Torkoal, Farigiraf, Scovillain. Pelipper just switches in, changes the weather back up. Honestly, I don't even need to. Like, Dragonite actually can just function by itself here. Friggin'. Yeah, do I even want to switch in Pelipper? How many turns of Trick Room are left? Last turn of Trick Room. What is actually better here? Like, what difference does it make? If they had Fissure on Torkoal, that's like my only fear. They could also have Earth Power, so I think that's the one thing we want to respect. I am down to Flamethrower Torkoal here and Protect with Archaludon. I think that is fine. That covers for every single Torkoal set that we could possibly run into. I'm immune to Fissure. Your Fire-type damage does not scare me. Yeah, and they Flamethrower into us. Cool. Double the boosts. I like it. I like it. That's cool. Nasty plot for Farigiraf as well. Very neat. However, I still don't think that is going to be enough for my opponent here at the end of the day. Light Screen does finally wear off. Trick Room expires. So, like, I could have switched Dragonite into Pelipper, Electro Shot the Frig there. That probably would have been a game-winning play, because now it's like they do theoretically threaten me with another Trick Room. Last turn to Reflect, you're at +2. Yeah, I'm down to just switch in Pelipper right now. Electro Shot into Farigiraf. I still feel fine because we have multi-skill active on Dragonite. We have a Pelipper, right? And it has Wide Guard as well. So if you're Hyper Voicing or Dazzling Gleaming, it's not that scary. Scovillain protects. Nice. That's why we didn't target it. Electro Shot. Nice damage. Citrus. They probably Trick Room here. That's fine. Yep. Cool. Reflect wears off, but has served its purpose. Yeah, I mean, here I think I'm happy to just Hurricane into Scovillain and Dragon Pulse it, knowing you protected, and you can't knock out both of my Pokemon with theirs, right? At best, they can double up onto one slot for a knockout, but I'll trade one for one because I have 2 Pokemon, you have 1 left. Yeah, they just Hyper Voice. Really good damage there, actually. I could have Wide Guarded, but then Wide Guard opens them up to going for Psychic Overheat into Archaludon, which I don't want to deal with. And we're just faster with Pelipper under Trick Room. Cool. Bye-bye, Scovillain. Nice. Spicy Spray, but not super relevant here. I think basically because they had Swords Dance, Black Glasses, King Gambit, if they were able to get like 2 Swords Dances off and kowtow the Archaludon first, they might have had a better shot, but that was going to be their main damage output into us. And so didn't have to worry too much. All right. Very nice. Yeah, I think Sableye with Rain Dance, being able to threaten that plus being able to get screens up, just so huge. Lopunny, Sylveon, Aerodactyl, Archaludon, Pelipper, Basculegion. So they've got their own Arch. It's Mega Lopunny, which is interesting. Or Mega Aerodactyl. Potentially both, but Lopunny definitely. I wonder if they lead Lopunny with Scrappy Fake Out. Their Arch is a little bit scary. Sableye, Arch. Sableye, Arch. I don't think we need our Pelipper here. It's a liability. I think it's Sinistcha here to keep up with their Archaludon, and then one of Dragonite or Basculegion. Preference for Basculegion here because they have a Sylveon. Okay. Sylveon, Lopunny. That is the lead I was fearing here. Because you can Fake Out Sableye and choose to just flinch it. Huh. I think I'm still going to try to get Light Screen up here, Flash Cannon into Sylveon, but this is a very good lead by them. And part of the thing is, when I designed this team, I was like, you can lead Sableye or Archaludon into any meta thing, but Lopunny is not very meta, and with Scrappy Fake Out, it's actually pretty good here. Yep, they are going to go for it. Oh, that is a lot. They crit us. That's bad. I'm not sure I survive Hyper Voice with that crit. Flash Cannon does pretty good damage. I'm curious if there are leftovers. Hyper Voice comes out now. Oh, wow. Sableye hangs on with 1 HP. Oof. I could pretty easily reflect right now. I'm leaning towards reflect and protect here, because if I were my opponent, I would protect Sylveon, try to go for our fighting type damage onto Arch. Nice. Okay. Sweet. Close combat is still pretty dang powerful, but now what I can do is switch in Sinistcha for the healing. Flash Cannon into Sylveon. The question is, do we think they're going to switch Sylveon out? Because this is a pretty opportune time for them to do so. Archaludon, Basculegion are both good switch-ins. The other play I'm considering is just Rain Dance here. Because I do have the Reflect Up and a defense boost. Yeah, I'm leaning Rain Dance Electro Shot here into Lopunny. Ah, they don't switch Sylveon out, though. That might have been greedy on my end, then. What does this do? It's enough to survive, but I faint from a Hyper Voice. Yeah, I thought Sylveon would switch out there for sure. I think that is going to cost me a lot. And it's on me. Like, I figured it was a read worth making, but I don't think it was one that was necessary because switching Sinistcha Flash Cannon was always safe. Or launching the Electro Shot into Sylveon instead. Because, like, the thing is, now I'm stuck with Basculegion, Sinistcha endgames. This one's kind of on me. Like, if I just make a different play there and target Sylveon, I think we're totally fine. I got a little bit greedy and read heavy, and that was an unnecessary prediction to make. It was just one that I was like, oh, if you switch out there and I knock out Lopunny, I think I just, like, win the game immediately. But now I might actually just be in, like, a pretty losing spot, right? Depending on what they bring in. Aerodactyl, though, I actually don't mind seeing that. Okay. Reflect is up. Light Screen is not. I mean, I think we commit to locking Last Respects. I'll target Sylveon here, Matcha Gotcha, into Aerodactyl. Okay. Got Last Respects, KO Sylveon. Are they dual wing beating us? Are they tailwinding? It's going to be dual wing beat. That's fine with Reflect Up. I actually don't even take half my health. That's kind of nuts. Matcha Gotcha doesn't miss, which is crucial. That's so much damage on Aerodactyl, honestly. Archaludon as their last one is my guess. Oh, it's Basculegion. That's a big deal. I've got Cassiberry here. I have Reflect Up. Like, I'm leaning Last Respects Basculegion. Rage Powder right now. They don't protect. They don't Mega. Well, obviously they can't Mega. Lopunny was the Mega. So is it Sash or Cassiberry on their end? Nice. We're good. Oh, I thought I lost that after making that misplay. But now, yeah. Basculegion. My guess is they were Choice Scarf there, but even if they won the speed tie, I still end up winning, right? You go for Last Respects into my Sinistcha, I KO you in return, you dual wing beat into me, but then I just Last Respects you afterwards. So, yeah. Lopunny was really scary, though, because it could deny me what Sableye normally wants to do on turn 1. Froslass, Garchomp, Sneasler, Basculegion, Rotom Wash, King Gambit. Sableye. Sableye. So where's the special damage? I mean, it's Rotom, Froslass, right? Sableye, Archaludon. Sinistcha, and I think Basket Legion fourth here. Pelipper's bad into Rotom. Dragonite's bad into Froslass. I think you could flex between Dragonite and Basket Legion in this matchup, but we're going Basque. So let's see. $14 win streak. This team has been pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Kingambit, Froslass. I think this is probably... What do I want to do? Reflect, Protect turn 1, Light Screen turn 2. Or just Light Screen Flash Cannon turn 1 into Froslass. I think I'm okay going Reflect, Protect here, personally. Basically, I think I get both screens up in this game, and I'm happy with that. Maybe Light Screen is better turn 1, so I can Rain Dance Electroshot turn 2. Number 1 up. I would be happy to see an Aurora Veil here. Ooh, Shadow Ball into Sableye. Nice play. I think I survived Kowtow with Reflect up, though. But that was a very nice play. Yeah, we do survive. Okay. The question now is, do I Light Screen or do I Rain Dance? Light Screen is basically just to help against Froslass a little bit more. I think I actually prefer Rain Dancing right now and Electroshotting into Kingambit. I can take a Blizzard and Shadow Ball. It's fine. And Froslass switches. Great. Into my good old buddy Rotom. Okay. This is good, because I basically was like, I really want to get a special attack boost on our Archaludon. It makes such a big difference in our damage output. Good damage on a Gambit. Kowtow, KO Sableye. Yeah. Free switch it into Sinistcha now. The main debate is with Sinistcha in. I could go Basket Legion as well, but I'm vulnerable to Sucker Punch, which I'll survive. I could flip turn. I think Sinistcha's better here. Basically, the thing about Sinistcha now is obviously I can Electroshot into Kingambit. If I'm my opponent, I'm switching that Rotom out into Froslass. So I want to go for Matcha Gotcha here. Flash Cannon, I think, into Rotom. It could be Gambit switching out as well, but if I were my opponent, I think Rotom pivots out into Froslass. This is a big turn, because I'm like committing a relatively low damage attack into Rotom. Froslass. Nice. Cool. This should just KO. Good. So, like, who needs Light Screen if you just KO the special attackers, right? Kowtow, we survived this. Very nice. Matcha Gotcha. And the idea for going for Matcha Gotcha there is to get some chip damage on Kingambit, and it's hopefully in Dragon Pulse KO range now. Also gives us a burn chance, and a burn onto that would probably just, like, Sealed Steel. I'm actually not sure Dragon Pulse KOs at +1, though, is my concern, but we'll see. Rotom in now. I'm going to go for Life Dew here to get around Sucker Punch, and Dragon Pulse into Gambit. Once Gambit goes down, Scarf Basket Legion closes the game. Like, the two special attackers are Rotom plus Froslass. Neither of those are too concerning. That was a big turn to get right, I think, because they could have just stayed in. It just felt like kind of wild for them to not switch in Froslass there, right? Because Electroshot in a Gambit otherwise felt so free. Cool. They just Thunderbolt us. It's fine. It's not going to do much to us. Them being faster than Archaludon Thunderbolting makes me think they might be Choice Scarf Rotom. Dragon Pulse does get the KO. This is why it was so crucial, in my opinion, to get that first Electro Shot boost. Because without the boost, we don't KO Froslass with Flash Cannon or King Gambit with Dragon Pulse from that range. Yeah, and they end up forfeiting. Sweet. Okay. Not bad. The win streak continues. $15. Not bad. Gardevoir Scizor. Basculegion Aerodactyl, Mousehold, Comwell. I wonder if this is... Their name is Bazad. And that is the name of one of North America's top players, regional champion. So I wonder if it's them. There's a lot of special damage here. There's a Comwell. That scares me. And because it's Scizor, I mean, would you really bring Scizor into this team? I'm not running the Floette version anymore. Sableye, Arch. Sableye, Arch. What's scary here? Like Mousehold plus Como, I think is kind of scary, right? Like I might bring Pelipper for Wide Guard here, just for Como, because I think it's such a big threat. Sinistcha 4th. I just feel like I'm really lacking offense here and like relying too much on Archaludon. It's the combination of Mousehold and Como that spooks me out a bit here, because I think you can just like set up with Clangorous Soul and Clanging Scales. Aurasphere also does a lot of damage. Gardevoir Mouse. Super Fang Hyper Voice is also scary here. Like, I lean towards Light Screen turn 1, Protect. Turn 2, Rain Dance Electro Shot. Turn 3, switch in Sinistcha, and either Protect or Attack, depending on how much damage we've taken and what they've done. Mega Evolve, Light Screen. Oh, that is fine. I can quash you into Encore next turn, I suppose. But maybe I shouldn't have protected just out of respect of Encore. Why? They went for it immediately, though, right? Archaludon wasn't going to get a move off there anyway. So that's kind of surprising to me. I wonder if they meant to Encore Sableye? Like, I feel like that would have made more sense to me. It would have been a very good play. If they Encored Sableye on turn 1, I actually would have been in really bad shape, I think. I'm still not in great shape here, but it's, like, more manageable, because I think they'll probably want to Encore us this next turn, so I'll Quash Flash Cannon. But my guess was the Encore was meant for Sableye, because it logically doesn't make sense to Encore Archaludon there. It doesn't do anything, since... Unless it's really slow mouse... No, but even if you're really slow mouse, you have to be, like, min speed, right? Like... you'd have to assume Archaludon has speed investment, so... My guess is that it was just meant for Sableye. I have to respect the Encore now. I assume they're going to want to Encore into Archaludon, so I'm going to Quash and Flash Cannon. Quash to delay their Encore. But the problem here is I don't get to Rain Dance a lot. I think what I should have done was just attack with Archaludon on turn 1. Then in this position, I'd be able to, like, Rain Dance and attack again. It's kind of an awkward position, though, honestly. I don't think Dragonite would have done much for us. Basculegion lead could have been okay. Apply some early pressure. What do they want to do? Like, if I were them, I would just try to encore me into the protect. So encore Archaludon. The problem is I'm not going to be able to Electroshot boost because well, actually, no, I brought in Pelipper, so I can. It's not even a 2-hit knockout on the Gardevoir, though. That's not great. Oh, and they Super Fang. Nice play. That could have just been Rain Dance Electroshot this turn. Maybe they encored me just to instill fear in my heart. Pelipper gives me wide guards. I think I bring this in now. It also gives me the threat of wide guard, so I wonder if my opponent predicts it. But I think I go for wide guard here and Electroshot. They could protect Gardevoir, taunt Pelipper. They could also just encore Arch. I could have started by swapping in Sinistcha first for the healing on Archaludon. Maybe that wasn't terrible. But I like the idea of having wide guard pressure and turning on Electroshot right away. But yeah, I think the Mousel being able to Super Fang is a big deal. Like, it gets a pretty good supportive kit in Encore. Oh. They just ran out of time. Okay. I wonder if... I see what happened here, okay? The reason they encored Archaludon was because I think they literally were just, like, disconnected from the game the entire time, and so the game was just making moves. That is the explanation for what just happened here. Froslass, Sneasler, Basculegion, Kingambit, Milotic, Dragonite. I feel like I played so many games that I'm like, have I gone up against this? Like, it feels very similar to so many of the teams we fought against, but it's normally going to be Sableye, Arch, Sinistcha, Basculegion. Yeah, let's just lock it. The normal leads that people go against us with this core is what? Like, Sableye. Sorry, I go Sableye. They go Sneasler, Froslass, Kingambit, Froslass. It's normally going to be a Froslass lead, but Sableye's pretty disruptive into that. I keep going back and forth. I'm like, is it ever Dragonite here? But I think it's like we can, most of the time, we just end up using our Archaludon to clear Kingambit in the early game, right? And once Gambit fades, Basculegion comes in. Basculegion, Gambit, cool. The main debate here is, like, Reflect Dragon Pulse is one play to make. If I don't Rain Dance here, I actually don't get to spam Electroshot, which is the main concern. So I could just go Rain Dance Electroshot here immediately. I'm leaning towards Reflect Dragon Pulse here, but let's see if they just Wave Crash Kowtow. Oh, Basculegion protects. Okay, great. I mean, Sableye gets more turns to work with, and that's all I need. I'm assuming it's Kowtow into Sableye now. Yeah. Now I think we Rain Dance. Try to pop Basculegion. I also don't hate Rain Dance target Kingambit here, because I think Gambit's actually more annoying for Sinistcha. And yeah, they actually Aqua Jet us, so they were probably assuming we would just knock him out here. The Aqua Jet, to me, indicates they are likely not Focus Sashed. Because I think if you were Sash, you would have wanted to just attack there. is my guess. Nice damage. Okay. Man, if Sableye had survived that, actually it doesn't make a difference because they would just Aqua Jet me, so it's actually better we faint there, I suppose. Can bring in Basculegion. Or Sinistcha. I think Sinistcha is better in here first, honestly. And I'm happy to go for a Matcha Gotcha here. Electro Shot into Gambit. Part of me thinks I kind of need a Trick Room, but like, if I Trick Room, I have Scarf Basculegion in the back. That doesn't feel right. So I think I'm okay going Matcha Gotcha here, Electro Shot, knowing that I have the Cassette Berry, and they haven't taken knockouts. Okay, they just Last Respects. Yeah, this is not going to do much damage. Reflect is up. Yeah, 41 damage? Cool. Crucially, we get the knockout and a Gambit, which now opens the door for my Basculegion, especially because they are not Scarf Basculegion. And Matcha Gotcha should do enough damage to put it in KO range from a Last Respects, regardless of what item they are. I don't think they're Sash. Like, my guess is a Type Resist Berry on this, but I'm not sure. That's just so much in return. Nice. Citrus. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty common right now. So the thing is that Froslass gets to come in now. They did a good job of neutralizing my weather early. I am at +2 special attack, though. And I should survive Blizzard and Last Respects on this. Is it ever Trick Room is the question. Because the thing is, my Basculegion now is looking really good in the endgame, so I don't think I actually want to set up Trick Room. I think I actually don't mind clicking Life Dew right now. Flash Cannon into Froslass. It's a good protect. But it's fine, right? I'm just going to heal back most of this anyway. Yeah. It's much stronger now, but it's okay. Could have gone for the knockout onto the Basculegion here, which would have been nice. Also could have set up Trick Room, which maybe could have been nice. Now it's going to be Blizzard Last Respects from their end, right? But that's fine. I think it's best to... Oh, I guess I can't redirect a Blizzard anyway. But in the off chance they like switch Froslass out, I think Rage Powdering here is okay. Flash Cannon into Froslass. They held on to their Mega Evolution, as you saw, which would cover for... Like, had they Mega'd and then protected, then I could like theoretically switch in Pelipper, so it's smart of them to hold on to their Mega there. Yeah, that last turn, man, if I knocked out Basculegion, I would have been in pretty darn good shape. And it's still fine. Oh, they actually just Aurora Veil. Okay. I'm okay with that, I think. Am I? Does this KO? +2? Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked they went for Aurora Veil there, to be honest, given that I had the boosts. And now we have Scarf Basculegion. We've cleared the two things that outspeed it. Well, I mean, Froslass isn't outspeeding it, but King Gambit with Sucker Punch and Froslass. So what is their final Pokemon? If it's Sneasler, we definitely win. Milotic doesn't really win against them for them either. Dragonite is probably the scariest, but even then, I think I just lock Last Respect. If it's Dragonite, they could Tailwind us, I guess is the problem. But it's Sneasler, perfect. Man, yeah, like I just lock Last Respects, Basculegion, Dragon Pulse, Sneasler. They should protect Basculegion, so it's like their out here is you Dire Claw Basculegion, yeah, and hope for a status condition. But I'd still rather Last Respects. I don't want to throw the game away by targeting Sneasler. Need paralysis or sleep. Okay, nice. Dragon Pulse into Sneasler, perfect. We'll just go for the same. In this position, you could be like, oh, like, why don't you predict the protect? But I just don't find that worth it, because let's say I predict the protect, I target Sneasler, Sneasler protects, Basculegion gets hit by last respects. Like, that's one way to kind of throw the game, right? They do get the double, though, but even at this point, if, like, even with the condition onto my Basculegion, I don't think it's enough, because it's still a 2v1, and I don't think their Basculegion can win that. Close combat, hoping for a crit. Wow, they got the double and the crit. I mean, I still survived Dire Claws here, but now it just opens more Dire Claw status conditions. If that is how the undefeated streak ends, so be it. I am fine with how I played this. The odds of that turn were 1 in 24. Yeah, we survived 2 Dire Claws here. Okay. If it's any status condition, at least it's paralysis and we didn't get full parity. Like, sleep and poison there actually both lose me in the game. So I'll take that one. We just need to survive Dire Claw, get this last respects off. Good on them for recognizing that out, though, honestly. Like, going for the double and critting Archaludon. We survive. That would have been a really sad one to lose, I think. But, you know, Pokemon's all about playing towards your outs, and for my opponent to have recognized that that was their out was really impressive. So kudos to them. But yeah, it's like, even with the bad luck, we still won, right? So it meant that we had built up a really insurmountable lead. Okay, we've got a Sun team here. Charizard, Venusaur, Farigiraf, Sylveon, Torkoal, Garchomp. Sableye, Archaludon for sure. Probably Pelipper here because they have dual weather. And then I'm thinking Dragonite, but the healing from Sinistcha I think is still crucial because like Hyper Voice scares me a bit otherwise. I could go either way here on this. I think I like Sinistcha more because my fear is if I go Dragonite, Sylveon becomes a pretty big problem. Dragonite's appeal is being able to soak up damage from the fire type attackers and being able to match up well in a Venusaur. And it's like, if I'm my opponent, do I even bring the Venusaur? This also could be a bluff, by the way, or just be regular Mega Charizard. Sorry, like, it could be a bluff in that it's Charizard X Venusaur, or it could be both, like, Mega Charizard Y and Mega Venusaur. Maybe I need a Dragonite to cover for Mega Venusaur. Is what I'm thinking right now. I don't know. Garchomp, Sylveon. I think this is probably Light Screen, Protect turn 1, Reflect, Flash Cannon turn 2. I am glad I brought Sinistcha in right now, given that this is their lead, because I think I will really need the healing once Archaludon soaks up damage. Stop being good. Hyper Voice, I assume? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Reflect right now. Flash Cannon. I'm still going to take a good bit of damage from this combo, but it's okay because then I can bring in Sinistcha to heal up next turn. Yeah, it doesn't even do half. Not bad. do take a lot there, but I think it's fine. Sinistcha in now. The question is, I think I might want to angle for Trick Room. Now that I've gotten both screens up, Sinistcha in. You presumably have Charizard in the back, which scares me a little bit. So I think I do want to maybe set up Trick Room right now. Basically go for Trick Room and a Flash Cannon. The problem is if I don't do this, I knock out Sylveon, Charizard comes in, Heat Wave obliterates me, right? So I kind of feel like I need to get some positioning right now. Even if they protect Sylveon here, then... And I get Trick Room up, Sylveon will outpace me under Trick Room, but then I can just protect Archaludon Life Dew, so it's fine. And Garchomp pivots, which I'm okay with. Okay. Into Venusaur. Could it be Mega Venusaur, though, is the question. Double switch. Okay, I'm okay with that, I think. This is exactly why I thought I needed to get Trick Room up this turn. The positioning is still pretty awkward, though. Right? Charizard presumably Mega Evolves here. I'm gonna Life Dew Protect here this turn. And I hope that they Mega Evolve Charizard. Ah, they don't. Nice play. Makes sense for them to hold on to that, though. Stall to turn a Trick Room. I'll be able to heal Archaludon back up at least, and this also covers for, like, them trying to Sleep Powder us. It's just Sludge Bomb, okay. Crit. I mean, it's fine. Oh, it would have been so epic if I went Electroshot into Charizard without the rain. That would have been sick. The problem is I'm about to lose the Weather War, right? In order to win, I actually feel like I need to switch Pelipper in right now, which is not intuitive. Dragon Pulse Charizard. They did a good job of pressuring my Sableye down, so I couldn't get the combination of Rain Dance, Light Screen, and Reflect up. So this kind of sucks because I have to bring in Pelipper. They're going to Mega Evolve Charizard, but basically if I stayed in with Sinistcha there, I lose Sinistcha, and like I win the Weather War for a turn, but then I lose it afterwards. So the idea is I'm going to swap the Pelipper back out this next turn. How much does Dragon Pulse do? Is it a 2-hit KO? Oh, it's so close. I needed... Yeah, I did like 38 there, right? I'm also worried they just... Sleep Powder me now. Okay, it's an Earth Power, which I'll survive at least. Oof, not well, though. Not well. My screen also wears off. Oh, man. Like, Dragon Pulse is a roll on Charizard. I don't know if, like, based on how much the last one did, it shouldn't KO. Like, I can Weather Ball Venusaur here. There's 2 turns of Trick Room left. They might just protect with both. I feel kind of behind in this game, so I kind of feel compelled to make a read, which is that Charizard protects here, and I want to double into Venusaur. But they could easily protect Venusaur attack with Charizard, right? I just think if you're my opponent, you kind of... Okay, yeah, they just keep both around. I'm assuming this is going to survive. Yeah. And I assume I'm getting hit by a Heat Wave. Because I just... Based on the fact that Dragon Pulse wasn't a knockout previously, I was like, I don't want to just bank on the Heat Wave. I could have wide guarded there, maybe. But, yeah. I think... This game showcased a lot of great play by my opponent, so it's like, what did they do well, right? They were able to knockout Sableye without letting me get Rain Dance, Reflect, and Light Screen up, right? The combination of it. They led something that was really good into Sableye Archaludon, in my opinion, and then they got their Sun up after knocking out Sableye, and it was awkward for Pelipper. So it was a really perfect play by them, honestly. And then Venusaur having Earth Power made it a lot harder because it meant that they had good offense into Archaludon. In that position, I could have gone Dragon Pulse, Weather Ball, double up on the Charizard, but it was correct for them to attack with both because it's like as long as you attack, you're fine. Is there any chance for us to win now at this point? I don't think so. Because it's the last turn of Trick Room. I mean, I guess I could Tailwind. Hope that Charizard protects. Life Dew. But Pelipper is just never doing enough damage, I think. Well. Oh, Sylveon is so strong. Yeah, I think, you know, this team was designed to beat Floette as the main fairy type attacker in this format, but Sylveon's actually a huge thorn for us because you get to bring a very powerful fairy type attacker with no commit to Mega Evolution. I mean, I can hope for Hurricane, Confusion, or Crit. That's basically it. But Sylveon's Hyper Voice just clears us at this point. So, yeah, it's like Sun, Charizard by itself, not a problem. Normally, Charizard paired with Floette. Floette, not a problem because people index on bringing Floette over Charizard, but here they get to bring Charizard plus Sylveon, and like the amount of special burst damage from that is quite difficult to deal with. I could have gone Sableye, Basculegion, and just straight up like rip Rain Dance Wave Crash, I think is a different approach to have taken in this game potentially. And go Sableye, Basculegion, Pelipper, Archaludon. Or Sableye, Basculegion, Rain Dance, Wave Crash, try to KO Sylveon early, then use Mega Dragonite to win the matchup. So I think we had tools here, but my opponent's Pokemon selection was like perfect, and their play was very, very good. So the undefeated streak will finally break, but I think this game highlights how you can beat this composition, right? And strong fairy type damage is already kind of scary. We have answers for it, but in this, having like burst from Sylveon just made it that much tougher. So well done. Yeah, I don't think I had much of an out here because I indexed too heavily on Archaludon in this matchup, and Pelipper, Sinistcha, Sableye is not going to do enough damage. So I think I maybe needed to just select different Pokemon here and bring Basculegion and or Dragonite instead. Like if I were to replay this, I would probably play like a very aggressive mode with those Pokemon instead. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. You know, when I sat down to record, I was just planning on playing like 5-6 games and calling it a day, but I figured, hey, might as well just upload the entire win streak and keep going until we lose. And so we made it this far, and I am really proud of this team. I think it's not a perfect team by any means, but it is one that can feel unbreakable. And, you know, we played all kinds of different standard meta teams and non-conventional teams as well throughout the climb. So hopefully it showcases just how powerful this combination can be. I have a lot of faith in it, so I'm excited to see what you all can, you know, do with it now having seen it. So yeah, thanks so much as always for watching. My name is Aaron CybertronVGC. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.